Good morning, everybody. We are back. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you on a Tuesday morning. And we certainly missed you yesterday. We saw your nice messages and got text messages. Where are you guys? Well, we were off. It was a company holiday. They wanted us to stay home and respect the troops. And that's exactly what we did yesterday. Respecting veterans is really what we do best here on Ben and Woods, if I had to be honest with you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you? I didn't miss anybody yesterday. I had a great time sleeping in.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Enjoying my day off.
It was, well, mine was a little different. But Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. You know what I respect the most about our veterans is the knowledge that it is really something I don't think I could do at all.
And could have never done.
Never done. It's just not in me to serve that way in the military. I just could not. I know everyone says, hey, you know, World War III comes around, push comes to shove, everyone could do it. I don't know that I have it in me, and I respect the heck out of the people who can do that and choose that as their career, as their path, that they, want to live that life of service to their country, and I do appreciate it greatly. I mean, not just on Veterans Day, but all year long, knowing that, just not me.
Yeah, I tried to do it. I was a little bit lost, and I went. I wanted to enlist in the Navy. My grandfather was in the Navy, but I had been in some legal scrapes, and they were not going to let me in. And I often think about how my life would have been different had I not gotten into those legal scrapes and had actually enlisted in the Navy.
So they thought you might be a security risk.
No question. There's no question I would
so
have been some
why
sort of risk.
The Navy and not perhaps one of the other branches of the military?
Because my grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah, my papa Ragland my papa Parker was in the Navy, and I thought, this is what I want to do. And, he would always talk about being on the boats and the ships and everything, and I liked the water. So I thought, I don't know. Can I be really honest? I thought it was the easiest branch.
Really?
I did. If I'm going to be
what is the easiest branch?
So
I thought maybe it was the Air Force, but I
don't really like planes and stuff. Yeah. So I thought
I could do planes.
I actually thought if I'm going to do it, I thought it was it
feels like Marines maybe the hardest,
and then Army.
I mean,
for me
see, again, I don't know.
Listen, this was
I don't know any of this.
This was my 18-year-old brain looking at my options and going,
Coast Guard, maybe.
Maybe, but I don't know. All I knew is Army looked really hard. Marines, come on, bro.
Personally, I think they're all extremely difficult.
Well, of course.
And
As do I.
I think you guys are very disrespectful to anybody that's ever been in the Air Force
As do I.
or Coast Guard.
I'm just talking through this here.
Again, this is all from the place knowing that I couldn't do it, and I just respect the heck out of those people that can. The men and women who actually do that is pretty amazing in my mind.
Eric says none of the services are easier than the other. It was more about basic training and stuff is where my head was at. That's just what I thought, all right? Again, you know how I'm wired. Somebody probably told me, oh, yeah, I did the Navy. It was awesome. I saw the world, whatever. Okay, great, I'm in. But anyway, it's. I didn't get it didn't end up happening. But I am so appreciative to all of those. Tyler. Happy Veterans Day from Odyssey. Here's the military branch we think is the weakest. Now you're putting words in our mouth.
Didn't say that.
You're
You guys are
taking
monsters.
you're taking us out of context. Oh, crap. I've always had a tremendous amount of respect because, again, I just knew, man, you are not cut out for that. You're just not good enough.
It's like saying, which NFL team would be the easiest to make?
play
Probably
for.
the Carolina Panthers.
But that's not true.
I mean, it still would be extremely hard to make and play for the Carolina Panthers. I get it. They're not, they're not one of the better teams, yet it would still be very hard to get there.
So the military is just one big game. Is what I'm hearing. You guys are
just digging. Anyway,
unbelievable.
So that was our Veterans Day talk. But we do appreciate the veterans out there very, very much. Thank you so much. Obviously, living in such a military town. Yeah, man. My grandfather in the Navy was stationed here in San Diego. It's where my mother was born. So there was definitely some allure there for me as far as the Navy goes. I liked the Navy uniforms. I thought they looked pretty cool. And then so years later, I'm watching A Few Good Men, right? And homeboy says to Tom Cruise, "Oh no, we like you Navy boys. Anytime there's a fight, you guys always give us a ride. And I went, oh, my God, that would have destroyed me if I was in the Navy at the time. So, listen, things always work out the way they're supposed to. We're meant to be here trying to entertain you guys on a Tuesday morning, digging ourselves in a big hole. How was the weekend for you, Benjamin?
It was good, relaxing. I actually cracked open a book and almost like read an entire book over the weekend, which I haven't done in a long time.
What book?
It was Alan Shipnuck's Live and Let Die book.
How is it?
The drama between the Live Tour. Well, for someone who loves golf like I do, it's fantastic. He's such a great writer.
Shipnuck is one of the best writers going. I read his Phil Mickelson book. It's incredible. He's a brilliant writer. Brilliant writer. And it tells you like everything that went on between the two.
Really lays it all out. And even someone who has followed that story, I have such a better understanding of all of it now.
That's rad. I would like to read it.
Really, just the gnarliness on both sides. I mean, Live is as bad or worse than you think it is, but the PGA Tour
is no better.
There's no giant hero in this story either. But it was fascinating, and it was nice to just spend some time over the weekend, relaxing on the couch and reading a good book.
I got to go out Saturday night and howl at the moon a little bit, and it had been a while since I got to do that, and it was fun. I had a great time in it. Next morning, not so great. I'm just tough. It's tough because I don't do the slow ramp up. 0 to like 75. I just go from 0. Now I'm going 75. So, but I was home early. I was home by like 10. But I had to get up and go coach. I mean, get up and go coach. The game was at 12:30. And let me tell you, it was still a bit of a struggle to get out there to shower. You had to brush your teeth.
This is like a 2 or 3 times a year thing for you now.
That's
about it.
It's about 2 to 3 times where I actually, when it's rare that I even want to go out. But it's my buddy Sam, our buddy Sammy's birthday. It's actually this coming week. And so I said, yeah, man, I'll come out and meet you for a few. Went out to North Park, had a great time. Hadn't been back to my old stomping grounds in a long time out in North Park. So went and crushed it pretty good. Had a great time and woke up and then had to go coach Little League and lead some young men into another crushing defeat. But the field was probably, once you parked the car in the blazing sun at 12:30 p.m., I'd say the field was a good, solid half-mile walk. So I'm lugging all my gear out there. I'm like, all right, man, just a couple hours, we'll get through this. Get these kids dialed in. Of course, we're playing the team with the over-exuberant team mom. And over-exuberant team mom has a massive speaker. Not like the little cylinder one.
Sure. The wireless speaker, the big boombox style.
The big boombox.
Wireless speakers.
And she's getting it all dialed in for the game. About 30 minutes before the game. And she's playing music from it. But it was only one song. And it was, cold beer on a Friday night, chicken fried and my head feels right. Over and over and over and over
Zach
and
Brown
over
did,
and over and over and over and over and over.
What,
just
like,
on repeat.
She didn't move on to a different song.
No, it was just chicken
I thought
fried.
I assumed that just felt like the song took forever to play.
No,
it actually repeated.
It was just
on repeat.
Chicken fry, cold beer on a Friday. I'm like, all right, try to get 2 here. Keep your gloves down. Cold beer on a Friday night, as loud as it could be, and my head is just going.
Why would you ever repeat a song?
I don't know.
I mean, even a song I love. You know me. I will repeat a song twice, maybe a year.
Twice a year.
That's it.
I can't wait for your
like
Spotify
over and
Wrapped.
over.
I can't wait for your Spotify Wrapped again, by the way. But my head was like, don't. And just over. She kept playing it. And then the game started, and they had the full on, now batting, number 22, Paul Reindl. They had some announcer guy. It was serious. It was a serious thing. And the way I looked at it is, hey bud, you're the one that decided to go out and have too many last night. Time to pay the piper. So pay the piper I did.
Sounds like everyone was kind of paying the piper though.
Yeah, I think everyone suffered a little bit for that one. And then yesterday on Veterans Day, had all the neighborhood kids come down. We played football. We played home run derby.
Cold beer on Friday night.
We played basketball, and then I took them all to In-N-Out.
I saw that. You were outnumbered. Just you by yourself.
A pair of jeans that fit just right.
How many kids did you have with you?
4. It was so many.
1 on 4, all around, 4 to 6 years old.
Yeah, all around 4 to 6 years old.
Did you get looks at In-N-Out?
No. One lady said,
sympathy?
One lady said, "You're doing a great job." And I said, "I've bit off more than I can chew."
And a little bit of chicken fried.
I almost just said the F word live on the radio. I will have PTSD.
Cold beer on a Friday night.
God, it didn't stop. It just went over and over and over and over.
And cold beer on a Friday night.
It's funny because on our last show, I believe you spoke a lot about Brianna chicken fried.
Yeah. I'll say this right now. Little League parents, you're doing too much. It's too much. Okay? It's too much. The announcements, the walk-up songs, it's all too much.
A pair of jeans that fit just right.
Let's do less. They're 6.
If you do that the whole show, Paulie, we will actually
You'll lose
walk
me,
out. We're not going to make it.
I think you will lose me today.
We actually could probably lose
A pair of jeans that fit just right.
Like, gone in one day.
My wife's telling me to be careful.
Years of building up to tier 1.
No, well, I'm a chicken fried.
All lost in one segment.
Do less. Do less, do less, do less, do less.
Oh, man.
That's my message.
We have a lot to get to.
Orthodox Evan said, should we do military branch rankings every offseason? All right. Ben and Wood's military power rankings. This killed me. Sorry.
Janine says, "Isn't that the guy who sings that? Isn't he a horrible person?"
No, he's actually a good guy.
Zach Brown. This is Zach Brown who sings Chicken Fried. You're thinking of Zach Bryan who dated Chicken Fried.
Oh, and you know what happened to me? I got a little grief. So I didn't finish the podcast. Well, I took Ambien, listened to her side of the story, like the beginning part when they broke up, and I was like, "Oh, all right, so you broke up. You broke up." I didn't get to the end though, Paulie, where apparently he like would take her phone and break it and like was really like, yeah, abusive. So there you go. I walk it back that it's just a normal breakup between two people. Because I didn't finish the very end.
Normal breakups have $12 million NDAs.
So that's the other thing. It's like, buddy, somebody's like, Woodsy, guy's a $12 million NDA. And I'm like, that's true. What would my NDA be worth to Hannah? Like $70. Like, all right, if you want to rap me out about this, this, and this, go ahead. But $12 million, I think
you already D everything on the radio.
That's true. That's true. I disclose it. So yeah, man. So yeah, Janine says she's confused. I was too. Zach Brown's a good person. Zach Bryan not.
I mean, you don't know Zach Brown's a good person, but I don't think you've heard as much about Zach Brown.
He's never been in trouble. He's never been.
I don't think I've ever heard him in any controversy.
He's like again, you can't judge a book by its cover, but he's like a seemingly really good guy.
He's like a good dude.
Like a good dude.
Just
the other one, not so much.
Cold beer on a Friday night.
Over and over and over. What can make your hangover worse than that?
Do you think if you were ever in the same room as Zach Brown, who sings that song, maybe had a few pops?
Yeah. Would I say something?
No.
Oh.
You just pulled him aside and be like, "Hey, man, tell me how you really feel about Chicken Fried."
He hates it.
He probably hates it, right?
Yeah.
And we've had this discussion before with almost every band, every artist. You got that one song that you probably hate, but there's no way he can ever play a show and not play that song.
It's the best part if you've never seen the Eagles documentary. I highly recommend it. It is truly amazing, and it's about 4 hours. But there's a time when Timothy, one of the guys, Meisner, does not want to sing. I can't tell you why. He doesn't want to sing it anymore.
It's a great song.
Great song, but he doesn't want to do it. And Glenn Fry's like, "Are you out of your mind? I got to get up there every night and sing Take It Easy. Every single night I got to go, I've been running down the road. I don't want to sing it. I'm tired of singing it. They paid to hear me sing it. You're going to get your ass out there and you're going to sing it. Period." It's so good, man.
We feel a little similarly about Don't Do This.
That's true. That's true. That's true. People pay for Don't Do This.
Exactly.
Ours is free.
Ours
is free.
Yeah, but that's every time we think about getting rid of it, it's like, no, we love Don't Do This. Can't get rid of it. Can't get rid of it.
What is that?
Same
Was
song.
that more
of the song?
God, I feel like I missed that part. Maybe she was just doing the chorus on a loop the whole time. That's what I feel like. Oh man. So anyway, all right, we got a lot to get to.
We
today.
do have a lot
Some
to get to,
massive
especially
news broke right after the show.
I would say a couple of pieces of massive news this weekend about your San Diego Padres. We will get to all of it, set the menu on a Tuesday morning. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. It's great to have you all back. All the Tier 1s with Paulie and Woods. I'm Ben. Kelly's got traffic, and our week starting on a Tuesday here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Jamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Not to overhype things, but our first topic of the morning, I think might be the biggest baseball story this decade, possibly.
I love Ruben Niebla, too.
Yeah, I do too, but that's not the story I am talking about.
Congratulations, Jackson Merrill.
It's also
Finalist.
a big one, but to me, the Rōki Sasaki news, which we will discuss this morning, the Japanese pitcher who is going to be posted and going to come over to the United States and pick one of 30 teams to join.
Sure he is.
Has the potential to reshape rivalries and championships.
Right.
Do you not agree with that?
No.
You don't?
No. You know where he's going.
If he goes there, it's also the biggest story probably of the decade. One way or another, this is huge news.
It's a much, 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 much bigger story if he goes anywhere but L.A. If he goes to L.A., it's here we go again. If he doesn't, then it's if Rōki Sasaki says, I want to be a pirate and pitch with Jared Rodriguez and Paul Skeens for the next decade, then it's the biggest story in baseball. If he goes to the Dodgers, it's ho-hum. The Dodgers get a fifth starter. That's it.
Makes them that much tougher
Correct.
to beat for the next World Series.
Absolutely.
Though. I mean,
Absolutely.
already the biggest favorites. They become
Jared Jones. Sorry, not Jared Rodriguez.
Overwhelming favorites if they get Rōki Sasaki.
Yeah.
If he's anything, I mean, obviously he may not be what people expect him to be, but
looks pretty good from what I've seen.
Given the hype, given the potential and promise, and given the lack of cost that, he'll take over the next 6 years, he's the most transformative free agent. Juan Soto is the secondary prize.
Bro, you're not
of
kidding.
this offseason. I
Because-
firmly believe that now.
Because you get Juan Soto, yeah, that's rad. But he's going to cost you $60 million a year. Rōki Sasaki's going to cost you like $400,000 a year, and he's going to go out and potentially be, a Cy Young candidate before he grabs a ball. I mean, he's got that kind of stuff. So, yeah, man, it's a cost thing. It is a control thing, and again, Juan Soto. With the years that go by, I love Juan Soto. My God, watching him hit in the playoffs it's a revelation. I mean, truly, there's really nobody that does it like he does. But at some point, they're going to have to figure out, man, we can't keep running him out. Like, are we going to end up paying $60 million for a designated hitter, in let's call it 4 or 5 years, maybe move him to first base or something. I don't know. But as it stands now, I don't think he can play 160 games in the outfield for another 14 years, like the deal he's going to sign. So Rōki Sasaki, Ben, coming over and being very beyond reasonable. No, let's call it what it is. Dirt ass cheap for 5 to 6 years. That's pretty good business if you can get it.
So we will we'll talk about Rōki Sasaki. We'll also talk to someone who knows more about Rōki Sasaki than we do. JJ Cooper from Baseball America is going to join us at 7:35. Again,
JJ's rad.
I'm not trying to hype this story up. This decision will be the most important decision in baseball this offseason.
Yep.
For those reasons that you just indicated. Yes, Juan Soto is going to be an impact player wherever he goes,
Yes.
but at 600 to 700 million, he's also going to be a major financial drain. Even on the Yankees
Takes
or
a bite.
Dodgers, takes a big bite out of whatever team he goes to. Rōki Sasaki takes no bite.
A nibble, just a little
Any team, just a tiny little nibble. With potentially a huge
it's like
impact.
signing a guy off the street, essentially. I mean, literally. It's
John
like,
Fisher in the Athletics, they aren't even calling Scott Boras about Juan Soto.
right, no. But if Rōki Sasaki said,
But every team is in on Rōki Sasaki.
I want to pitch for the Ath. I want to be an Ath. Then he could.
As a kid, I grew up about Sacramento.
Yeah.
I was just dreaming about
I
Sacramento.
want to play on a hot-ass turf field and maybe move to Vegas one day. And I want to do it for a pittance. That's what I want to do. He has that opportunity. So any and all teams with international...
The Rockies, they're going to be
They're in
interested.
it. Everybody
they can afford him.
Everybody. I mean, it's the dream. It's the absolute dream scenario. But I do believe that. Honestly, if he goes to any other team but L.A., it's a bigger story. If he goes to L.A., it's, all right, L.A. got themselves another one. And make no mistake, that cat's going to be Probably if everyone's healthy, he's like their third or fourth starter. So have fun.
So we'll talk about that baseball news as well.
He's an ace on 27 other teams.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like no, one,
Like
he's
the
a
number
one.
one
Yes,
ace.
yes, correct.
And he's only 23.
23.
So, I mean, huge potential here to reshape the offseason in Major League Baseball.
I'm not above begging.
See, now here's the question. Like, what does it look like? How do you convince him
What does he need?
to sign?
I'll give him anything he wants.
But it can't be money.
Taylor. I'll give him Taylor. Just turned 4. A lot of potential. I'll give him Taylor today on loan. Seriously, like what is it? What would it take? I mean, you know, I'm bracing myself, and I see all the reports that came out over the weekend that now they're doing handicaps on it and percentages of where he's going to go. And listen, history has not been kind to us in this respect. So I can't let myself get excited about it. Rōki watches. It may kill me. You know, it may kill all of us as we sit and bite our fingernails and
It's
hope.
when they get Rōki after signing Juan Soto.
Yeah.
That's
the one where you're like, that's it for us. All right, we are pivoting to
Everybody's
hockey.
hoping to get one for each, and they're like, we'll just take them both.
Yeah, we got them both.
So we'll talk about that big story. I did have the Ruben Niebla news that broke just moments after our show on Friday, so it feels like old news, but we can certainly talk about what is a important rehire for the San Diego Padres. Also, the nominations are out for the Baseball Writers Association of the Year Awards at the to be announced next week, and 2 Padres, of course, getting nominated. We'll talk about Mike Schilt and Jackson Merrill a little bit later, and of course, there was a bunch of football over the weekend, as well as college basketball that we can discuss as well. Aztecs have their second game of the season tonight. A bit of an injury concern.
Oh, I was bummed to see
for
this.
San Diego State as well. We can discuss that a little bit later on in the program. Our usual segments as well. Take on Woods, chance to win a trip to Las Vegas at 7:10 this morning. Don't do this at 7:20 in our Reindl Report in our 9 o'clock hour. And that is the menu for today's program. But when we come back, I think the biggest story of the baseball offseason now is Rōki Sasaki, and the Padres, make no mistake, will be in the center of these discussions. I don't think they're the favorites, but they are absolutely the team that the favorites are going to be the most worried about in the Rōki Sasaki pursuit. We will talk about it when we come back.
You're a sweet kid, man.
With Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Sweet angel.
Make no mistake, the pursuit of Rōki Sasaki is not about to get underway, as many has framed it over the weekend. It started years ago.
Yeah.
The Padres have been preparing for this for a while, as have other teams, knowing that if this pitcher comes over before he is 25 years old, there's no money that can convince him to sign with a team. It is simply... That's like old school college recruiting, essentially.
Yeah.
Here's our campus. Here's our coaching staff. Here's our facilities. This is why. Here's our city. Here's why you would love to play for our team. And it's about convincing what could be, very quickly a top pitcher in Major League Baseball why your organization is going to be the best spot for him for, possibly at least the next 6 years, if not longer.
Yeah, for sure. And again, going back over the weekend and reading all the pieces. Now, it's the usual suspects. It's Bob Nightingale. It's John Heyman. And they're doing everything they can to steer the public perception that Rōki Sasaki is pretty much already in Dodger blue. I mean, they're handicapping the Padres with maybe a 10% chance as the second highest team with a chance. And then it was basically 85% Dodgers, 10% Padres, 5% the field. So any other team.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the general consensus is, that he will be a Dodger. And I would assume, based on the relationship that he has with Yamamoto, based on the relationship that he has with Shohei Ohtani, and, talking to them, learning them, he does have a mentor here in Yu Darvish. Our guess has always been that was probably the reason for a Yu Darvish extension. Now, Yu Darvish pitched outstanding for the San Diego Padres last year. He was outstanding. I mean, and especially in the biggest game of the year, he was phenomenal. He gave up 2 solo home runs. He absolutely did his job. Yu Darvish is still a valuable piece of this rotation, but this is where you really need Yu Darvish to shine and tell this young man, hey, man, you can come to San Diego. You're going to slot right in, buddy. You're going to be number 1, number 2 in this rotation, ASAP.
We'll get more specifics on Sasaki, his game, from someone who knows a little bit more than we do. J.J. Cooper from Baseball America
been covering him a long time.
Is going to join us in about an hour. But I want to talk about, first of all, how is this process going to work?
Yeah.
We know some of those details. We don't know others, but we can discuss that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Getting a little busier on our roads, guys. Northbound side of the 805 cleared an accident right around Home Avenue. Westbound King Freeway, just before the 15, got a vehicle that went down the right shoulder embankment. Tow truck is rolling up to assist with that. Also, if you're traveling east on the King Freeway past Massachusetts, we have reports of a stalled car over to the right shoulder, so please take it extra carefully there. Move over lane if it's safe to do so. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So one of the first questions you ask about Rōki Sasaki is why is he coming over to the United States now? If he had waited just a couple of more years, he could have done the same thing that Yoshinobu Yamamoto did, who signed, remember, a $325 million deal with the Dodgers. His team gets a big chunk, like a fee, posting fee. I think it was about $60 million for his team. But because Roki is just 23 and not 25, the rules state that he is only allowed to sign a minor league contract and is only able to draw from the international bonus pool, which is anywhere between $5 and $7 million at most total that he can sign. So why would anyone give up potentially hundreds of millions of dollars and just not wait a couple of years to sign? There is speculation, but Sasaki has given no specific answer to that. Some of the speculation is this is his dream. He wants to get over here and start competing as fast as possible. When it comes to legacy, 2 lost years that you could be pitching in Major League Baseball, long-term records, things that you could accomplish. You can't amass the numbers that you could if you pitch for several years in Japan, put the wear and tear on your arm there, and then come over here. He's already pitched a few years in Japan. He wants to get over here as soon as possible. He's willing to give up some money to do that. He also knows that if he comes over now, does his 6 years, he'll be hitting free agency again at age 29, which is a prime time to do it as opposed to in your 30s when you might not cash in as big. We saw Shohei Ohtani come this same route over to the Los Angeles Angels, and of course, he's done okay financially for himself. Did not end up probably regretting his decision to come over early. So there is a precedent for big Japanese stars to come over before the posting age of 25.
Yeah, and based on the kind of player he is, the stuff that he has is electric. I mean, it is next level type stuff. Let's see, he did have. They call it an injury riddled season. Now he had a strained oblique and some shoulder fatigue through 110 innings, 10-5 with a 2.35 ERA. Struck out 129 hitters, throws a 102-mile-an-hour heater with a absolutely disgusting fall-off-the-table splitty and a really nasty slider. Which
Yu Darvish taught him.
He's never pitched more than 129 and a third innings in a season, but when healthy, very, very dominant. So I don't look.
He once pitched like 2 perfect games in a row.
Yeah,
in Japan.
For what you're potentially going to pay him, or I guess not pay him, fine by me. Come give me 129 and a third of the greatest innings that you've got in you, including the postseason. And,
Well, like with any 23-year-old, any organization should be somewhat careful.
Yeah, they're going to be careful
with innings. And you're not going to get 200 innings out of him next season. But again, that you'll have him for the next 6 years if you sign him. Now, how does the posting system work? Apparently, over the next several weeks, they go through the paperwork, the process of posting him. Once that is done, there is a 45-day window in which teams can negotiate and talk to Rōki Sasaki and try to reach terms of a deal. The international signing bonus pool ends on December 15th. A new pool opens on January 15th. It would be in the best interest of both the Padres and probably of Sasaki as well to make sure that he doesn't post until after December 1st to make sure that 45-day window includes January 15th, and that will open up a new bonus pool for every team.
Smart.
That most of them have spent most of their money. The Dodgers apparently have the most left. It's only a couple of million. You could definitely get more if you wait until January 15th to sign. So I would fully expect wherever he goes probably won't happen until January 15th. Even if he's made that decision, nothing should be official until then. So this is a story for the next 2 months that we'll be following very closely in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, which is, those are the kind of stories that make you insane. But it's nice to know. I mean, the new bonus pool money opens up on the 15th. You'd be actually not smart at all to sign anything before then. And listen, I'm sure there are all sorts of verbal, this could go so many different ways. And we'll ask J.J. Cooper about it coming up at 7:35. But listen, I mean, for me, the one thing that gave me a shred of hope was that we have, in my opinion, and in the opinion of every pitcher that's ever pitched under him, we have the greatest pitching coach on the planet, and we have him re-upped here for the next few years in Ruben Niebla, which, of course, was news that broke at about 10:03 on Friday as we were walking out the doors in my car, and I got the noti that said, Ruben Niebla's re-upped with the Padres. Now, we don't have the terms. We have the years? 3-year deal?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, look, man, there's something to be said for having a guy like Ruben that has such high marks and high praise. Now, look at myself, talking myself into this right now, which I'm going to do a lot over the next 6 weeks or so. And then I'm going to go, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, maybe there's a shred. Nah, maybe not. This is a different type of free agent, man. This is a different type. This is not one where you say, come on, guys, it's just money. Now it is like you got to put your best foot forward. And if you don't get him, you know what that means? You didn't close. That's what it means. You had a chance to close, and you did not close.
You're a contender.
You're a contender.
You have the greatest pitching coach.
Right.
You have this guy, one of this guy's idols.
Yes.
That he'll be pitching alongside. Like, you live in San Diego.
Right.
I mean, you have so much going
There's
for you.
so much going for you.
And that's
it's not going to boil down to, hey, they money whipped me, man. There was nothing I could do. Of course I'm going to sign a deal for
you have
$40
a
million
need for him.
Right.
I mean, it's just
there's a spot.
It's such a perfect fit. And yes, I also feel like the Padres are a distant second as far as the front runners go. But man, from the Padres' perspective, like, you're a contender. You are all in to win in 2025 like you were in 2024.
Yep.
You lost Joe Musgrove, a top of the rotation ace, out for the year, and you have budgetary restrictions.
Correct.
This is the perfect cure-all for an offseason.
Now, let's play the cons, right? What would be the cons for Rōki Sasaki?
Cons for signing with the Dodgers?
No,
or
signing
the
for the Padres.
It's a smaller market. So if you're trying to make up some of the money that you're not going to be earning through endorsements, there's probably a slight, a less opportunity to do so. Now, in Los Angeles, Shohei Ohtani has taken all the oxygen.
Correct.
Probably all the way from Los Angeles to Tokyo when it comes to the major endorsements. And you'll be competing against him and Yamamoto when it comes to trying to have some of the attention and, some of those dollars that come in. So I think there's both an advantage and a disadvantage to signing with the LA Dodgers. With the Padres, they tick a lot of boxes. Not only is your mentor, Yu Darvish, a pitcher there, Hideo Nomo works in the Padres front office, probably two of the most, if not the most respected pitchers in Japanese history are part of the Padres organization. You play in a pitcher's park. You play in front of sold-out crowds every night now. The atmosphere is great. San Diego receives very high marks, obviously, as a place to play around baseball. You're not going to hear pretty much a bad thing from anyone in baseball about going to play for the Padres at this point. I think ultimately what it comes down to is the personality of Sasaki and what he really wants to do. If you could join the Dodgers, obviously you are set up to win multiple World Series titles over the next few years. You may or may not do it, but you're absolutely set up to do that. But you're also not the guy who brings them that title. They've already won one. They already have bigger stars than you on their team. You're a big, important role piece on the Dodgers. If you sign with the Padres or any other team, you can be the guy who brings them that title, especially for the Padres, brings them their first title, helps slay the biggest Japanese stars in Shohei Ohtani and, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and be that guy that takes them on head to head. That's kind of a personality thing.
Sure.
Though. Do you want to be the joiner, or do you want to be the rival to the biggest Japanese stars? And I don't know where his head's at on that, but
I don't know who he is.
To me, if he wants to be a rival, clearly the absolute best position for Rōki Sasaki to come over and go, hey, I want to compete against the best in the world. Who's the best? Shohei Ohtani is the best, and I want to compete against him in the same division.
I want to beat Yamamoto.
Play him every day. I want to knock off the champs and see if we can bring a title to San Diego.
Yeah, if he decides to be our version of what Curt Schilling was to the Red Sox, if you watch the comeback, he wanted to be a New York Yankee, and Theo and Jed Hoyer went and closed him and said, no, be the guy, be the guy that helps us break the curse of 1918. Be that guy. And Curt Kurt found a lot of resolve in that. Kurt said, that actually sounds better than just being the, second or third starter on the New York Yankees, where a lot of guys just go to win championships. So it depends on the personality. Now, if he comes here, I will laud him forever. If he goes there, I will rip him forever. So that's just the way that it goes.
Another pro and con.
Yeah.
Now, maybe he's always dreamt of pitching for the Yankees or the Cubs.
Yeah,
so
right.
We don't know.
We have no idea.
Kind of what's in his heart and, where he wants to be. And again, every single team has a chance. Ohtani signed with the Dodgers. Darvish signed with the Rangers when he came. Or Ohtani signed with the Angels.
Yeah.
Darvish signed with the Rangers when he came over. Seiya Suzuki signed with the Cubs. There has been different reasons that different Japanese players have signed with teams, and it's not always about money.
Sure.
They all have their own, thoughts on what they want. I just think the Padres are positioned quite well in this derby, in this sweepstakes that will go on for the next couple of months.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll see how that shakes out. It's really just going to boil down to the player and where he's most comfortable. And one thing I do know about San Diego is that we will make him very, very comfortable if he's here. And I think you will be able to speak to that as how well he's been treated by San Diego fans and how much respect he has for the city of San Diego and its fans as well. We would love to have Rōki Sasaki here.
Obviously, talk about killing two birds with one stone.
I don't want to kill anybody.
You don't want to kill anybody, but for
embracing
a team that needs to replace Joe Musgrove next season, that is trying to be a winner but financially responsible while doing so, guy scratches every itch. However you want to describe it, this is the one that you want the most this offseason.
Well, Christmas says MLB wants him in L.A. since they're playing in Japan next season. They've got plenty. I mean, there's no shortage. He'd like the third
you can
star
schedule
on
the
the
Padres
team.
for trips to Japan every year for the next 6 years. I don't think one trip to Tokyo is going to decide everything.
Our beloved Janine, who's always the voice of levity, does say in the chat, the last guy you tried to recruit went to the Cubs. That is very, very true. That's Shoto Imanaga. And you really helped sell him on the Cubs very well. You'll love it here. It's great. They're great. Shoto says, "Oh, thank you. All right, I'll come pitch here then."
So the Cubs, not the Padres.
No,
okay, all right.
I get the sense that perhaps Shoto was like, "Oh, I really love the Cubs. I want to go there."
You could not tell a lie.
Yeah, he's not going to say, "No, they're terrible." I mean, no, I like the Cubs, and if that's where you want to go,
Seiya Suzuki. Was it Seiya or was it?
I don't know.
Shoto?
They both went there.
They both went there. All right, I need you to step your game up, bro.
That's why the Cubs
Please.
are definitely an intriguing candidate in this sweepstakes as well. They've landed a couple of Japanese stars
Get
before.
you an extra Ben and Woods shirt he can give Roki.
Oscar says, why would he compete against other Japanese players? Because that's what competitors do. That's what competitors do. That's what they do. Like, there's something in Manny that wants to compete against the best. There's something in they don't all want to join. They're not all Kevin Durant. And make no mistake, if he joins the Dodgers, he's the Kevin Durant of baseball. Anybody that joins the Dodgers right now, you're the Kevin Durant of baseball, And it's probably why Dave Roberts wasn't nominated for the Manager of the Year.
Well, it's a regular season award. He was never going to get it.
Absolutely. But there's a reason for that. The reason is you roll out of bed and you can win with that team. And I know he did a great job this year. I gave him a lot of credit in the postseason. They didn't count that in. But there's a reason that you're the super team. You're a super team. So if you join a super team, that's what you are. You're another star that joined a super team. If you don't and you stick to what is inside you, you want to beat the best, right? You want to beat the best. Not play with the best. You want to beat the best.
It's going to be very disappointing if he signs with the Dodgers. I'm going to say that right now.
Massively. We're taking the day off. I'll tell you that right now.
It's going to be really disappointing because what is already a big mountain will become even taller to climb.
Yeah.
If they get Sasaki, you get Sasaki, and you have somewhat leveled the playing field a little bit. You'll never quite level the playing field, but you've gotten a lot closer. So, big story. That's where we wanted to start on this short week on a Tuesday.
We got more for you.
We do have more for you. Big nominations for Padres for the award season coming up next, as well as Take on Woods on the Fan. So yesterday, Major League Baseball announced the 3 finalists for all their major awards. Welcome back. It's Ben Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. It's an odd thing to do because the winners have already been selected. They were voted for at the end of the regular season by the Baseball Writers Association of America. So by announcing the finalists, it's not like, okay, now they're going to re-vote among the 3 finalists.
Sure.
It's simply the first, second, and third place vote getters in each category. But the winner is already locked in. Nothing is going to change between now and next week. It's simply a little PR stunt to try to drum up some stories and a little attention and get us to talk about it today, which, I guess is successful.
And that's fine. I mean, baseball traditionally doesn't do a great job at stuff like this. They did a terrible job with the Gold Glove announcements. It was on like a Sunday in the middle of Sunday.
It was during the election.
That's right. It was on election night. By the way, so-and-so won third base Gold Glove. Like, what are you doing? So normally they're pretty terrible at doing that, as they are in free agency and how it drags on for 6 months every year. But this is a way for, them to drum this up, and it sparks some interesting discussions.
No surprises on the 2 Padres nominees.
None whatsoever.
For the Jackie Robinson National League Rookie of the Year Award, Jackson Merrill is a finalist.
This is Jackson Merrill.
Alongside Paul Skeens and Jackson.
I love Paul Skeens.
Jackson Churio of the Milwaukee Brewers. If there was ever a slam dunk 1, 2, 3 in any vote, it's probably those 3 who all had seasons that in any other year probably would have easily won them the Rookie of the Year award. But in this year, the competition is intense and likely will come down to Jackson Merrill against Paul Skeens, as it has in the other, awards that have been given out by different organizations. Jackson won the Players' Choice Award. Paul Skeens won. Whose award did Paul Skeens win last week? I forget. Someone else gave him the
Sporting News?
Sporting News, perhaps. Yeah. So they've kind of split the first couple of awards, and we'll find out next Monday which of those 2 wins the official Baseball Writers Award, which does come with the bonus draft pick. If Jackson Merrill wins, the Padres get that compensatory draft pick because they were smart enough to put him on their roster at the beginning of the season. Again, the Pirates would not get that because they didn't have Paul Skeens. We've gone through all the arguments between the 2. Jackson Merrill, everyday player. Paul Skeens made 22 starts. Has a limited impact on his team, but was unbelievable in those 22
Him being a
starts.
Cy Young finalist
Pretty nuts.
made me a little nervous for Jackson Merrill.
I agree with you because those are some of the same people. Now, they're not the exact same people who vote because you only get one category that you vote in. But if Baseball Writers deemed Paul Skeens a top 3 Cy Young winner, my guess is some of those same baseball writers also think, well, if he's that good, there's only been 5 rookies who have ever been a top 3 Cy Young vote getter, then isn't he definitely the Rookie of the Year in the minds of baseball writers? That worries me a little bit.
Jackson won Sporting News, and Skeens won Baseball Digest.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, there's certainly a, reason for at least...
Fine. Give Skeens the Cy Young and give Merrill the Rookie of the Year, and let's call this thing, call it a wash.
Which wouldn't be the worst outcome. I think Chris Sale is going to win the Cy Young in the National League, so... I think the only chance for Skeens to win a postseason award would be the Rookie of the Year award. And, if writers would go, well, he deserves a Cy Young, but he's not going to get it. Let's give him the Rookie of the Year. That's what I worry about when it comes to Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, for sure. I'm fully expecting to be disappointed. So,
meanwhile, Mike Shildt was named a finalist for the National League Manager of the Year award. His competition.
Hi, this is Mike Shildt.
Is Carlos Mendoza of the Mets, who orchestrated, obviously, a great turnaround after a horrible start and got the Mets to the playoffs. And again, it's just a regular season award, so none of the playoff, part of it matters. And Milwaukee's Pat Murphy, who I believe is the slight favorite here among the 3.
Why is that? I see a lot of that as well. I see a lot.
I would assume the same arguments for Shildt would apply to Pat Murphy. Exceeded expectations. I don't know what their payroll.
Well, see, if it's payroll, you got to take Mendoza out of it because they were through the roof. I mean, and I realize a lot of it was paying guys that didn't play for you anymore, guys that were hurt. I understand that. But your payroll is still
expectations.
$350 million or something absolutely insane. When it comes down to Shildt and when it comes down to Pat Murphy, look, the NL Central is not as good a division as the NL West. It's just not. The Cardinals had a really bad year, barely finished above 500. The Cubs had a really bad year, scratched and clawed to get 4 games over 500. The Reds are terrible. The Pirates are terrible. So you come down to the NL West where you have the Dodgers, who won the World Series. You have the Padres finishing second. And again, you're talking a probably 12 or 13 game expectations exceeded. You know what I'm saying as far as Mike Shildt and the San Diego Padres goes? Preller got robbed for Executive of the Year. I fully expect Shildt to get robbed by Pat Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, the 93 wins, which both teams won, I would say is much more difficult to do in the NL West. But at the same time, the Brewers did win their division. The Padres did not. That'll probably be held somewhat against Mike Shildt. I guess my biggest concern, though, is that I thought A.J. Preller was an overwhelming favorite, and they gave the award to the Brewer. In this case, I think it's fairly even. So what does that tell you who they're going to give the award to?
Yeah,
I guess it's probably going to go to the Brewer again. Now, that was different. That wasn't the baseball writers who choose the Executive of the Year. Those are the teams.
And I wonder, too, how much you take into account, and not maybe. We are obviously biased because we covered every pitch of the 2023 season. Does the common baseball writer, Ben, know what an absolute S show that Mike Shildt inherited? Does that have anything to do with it? Does the fact that he came in to a culture that was really crumbling, I mean, and finger pointing and blame and this, that, and the other, and then led them to 93 wins in the regular season in a really tough division, shouldn't that matter as well?
It should. I mean, Pat Murphy he was already there.
Correct.
Just took the ball and ran with what Craig Counsell had already done, whereas Mike Shildt actually had to, nothing against Pat Murphy, but he had to put in more work, I would say, in changing things with the Padres than Pat Murphy likely did.
Also, who's the best player on the Brewers? Did they trade him away? At the beginning of the season, I mean,
they lost Corbin Burns, so that was a big loss as a pitcher.
But. I mean, Juan Soto is you get rid of Juan Soto and you win more games with the guys that you get back. I don't know, man. I think Shilt's as deserving, if not more, than Pat Murphy certainly. But I do have that sense that Murphy will get it. It's kind of a sexy pick for everyone.
And again, by the way, winning manager of the year doesn't mean anything really. I mean, Skip Schumacher won it a year ago. Out of a job today.
Yeah,
it's
Did
certainly,
you hear that, Skip? It doesn't really mean anything.
Sorry, Skip.
What Ben is saying.
It means you had a really good season. It
Skip,
doesn't.
You can roll out of bed and win a manager. Any moron.
It doesn't
can
mean
win
that
one.
you are guaranteed to have a good season the next year.
I still like
they need
Skip
to give you.
I still like Skip Schumacher very much. Just for the record, let's get that out there.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods, and we've got a Las Vegas trip to give away. Again, started just last week, so if you want to try to be one of our first qualifiers, call in now to Take on Woods in our musical trivia challenge, 833-288-0973. Call now, 833-288-0973. We'll play here in just a minute or so. I had the other nominees as well for Cy Young and MVP. No big surprises in the National League. Shohei Ohtani is up against Francisco Lindor and Ketel Marte. Ohtani's going to win that, I think, fairly easily. In the American League, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are up against Bobby Witt Jr. Sometimes you say when teammates are both up for the award, they split the vote and it goes to the other guy. I don't think that'll be the case here. I think Aaron Judge is still going to get the majority of the Yankee vote and will end up winning the MVP award in the American League. We will find out for certain next week. On Monday, they will announce the Rookie of the Year awards. All these are on MLB Network, I believe at 3 o'clock our time, 3 to 4 o'clock they do the show. Tuesday is the Manager of the Year. Wednesday is the Cy Young Awards, and Thursday are the MVP awards next week. And there is a comeback player of the year, but it's not the same as the baseball writers. That gets announced, I think, later this week, perhaps. And I don't think there are finalists that are named. I would imagine Jurickson Profar is one of the guys who is up for that award. Chris Sale is probably up for that award as well, but I'm not sure exactly how they determine that one.
Okay. We ready?
Yeah, we got some callers calling in right now. Let's get to it. It is time for Take on Woods. All right, let's see. Let's go. Tim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Tim, you are a contestant today for Take on Woods. It is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. My board here says you're calling from Camp Pendleton. Is that true?
I'm driving to San Diego, but yes.
Okay. I mean, can you answer our question earlier? What's the hardest and easiest branch of the military to be in?
Oh, boy.
The Marine Corps.
That's what I thought. That was my answer earlier as well. All right, if you can beat or tie Woods here, Tim, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing of a getaway to the Westgate, Las Vegas, 2 tickets to Soul of Motown, and a $150 food and beverage credit. Westgate has brand new premier rooms, part of a $70 million room renovation, home of legendary Vegas fun, and the Soul of Motown, a high-energy concert-style musical tribute celebrating Motown legends. Must-see show. Get your tickets at WestgateResorts.com. All right, here are your categories, Tim. We got Locking Down the Save, 5 song titles beginning with the word save. Get Into the Rhythm, 5 song titles and artists, including the word rhythm. And Who Has It Better Than Us? Those are 5 song titles that include the word better. So, Locking Down the Save, Get Into the Rhythm, or Who Has It Better Than Us? Tim, what would you like to play?
I'm not good at song titles. Better, I guess.
Better. Who has it better than us? All right, so we have 5 song titles. All include the word better. Hey, do your best. You never know how this is going to work out. You'll have 60 seconds for the 5 questions. If you don't know once they pass, we'll come back to it. First question's the 2-second song. It includes the word better. Paulie's going to play some music. You need to give me the title and the artist for that one. Tim, I know you sound lacking confidence, but I think you've got this in you. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Category, Who Has It Better Than Us? Tim, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Watching the clock, it's 4 o'clock, it's got to stop.
Yeah, we're going to have to pass on.
All right, he doesn't know that one. Carly Simon recorded which 1977 hit as the theme for the James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me?
No.
Britt Howard Jones sings, And Do You Feel Scared? I Do, But I Won't Stop and Falter, in which 1985 new wave hit?
Better than us.
Which song about loss and meeting someone new was a top 5 hit for Air Supply in 1982?
Better people.
I like your guesses. Fans of Ben and Woods should know which 2000 song by Queens of the Stone Age is our Wednesday show open music.
Oh, man.
All right, go back to our 2-second song, Paulie.
Watching the clock, it's 4.
All right,
Sam,
Tim.
thanks for playing.
Hey, I appreciate your moxie for calling in, but obviously this wasn't the game for you. Hey, we don't make it easy, that's for sure. So anyway, I can be pretty sure that that's not going to work. Let's bring Woods back in. I'll just save the answers for afterwards. Everybody playing along? All right, Woods, let's give you your shot here. Same category. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Tim.
Watching the clock,
It's Better Man by Pearl Jam.
It is. Carly Simon recorded which 1977 hit is the theme to the James Bond movie The Spy Who Loved Me?
Octopussy.
Incorrect. Britt, that's a totally different movie.
Oh.
Britt Howard Jones sings, And Do You Feel Scared? I Do, But I Won't Stop and Falter, in which 1985 new wave hit?
I'll come back to it.
Which song about loss and meeting someone new was a top 5 hit for Air Supply in 1982?
I'm All Out of Love?
Incorrect. Fans of Ben and Woods should know which 2000 song by Queens of the Stone Age is our Wednesday show open music.
Better Living Through Chemistry.
Correct. Let's go back to Britt Howard Jones sings, And Do You Feel Scared? I Do, But I Won't Stop and Falter, in which 1985 new wave hit?
What is the name of it? I need the category. It's not helping.
You got Better Man and Better Living Through Chemistry. Does that help you?
Better Taint. I have no idea.
Things can only get better. Nobody does it better, and even the nights are better. But
Even the nights.
unfortunately for Tim, he didn't get any right, so you
Timmy,
did win
sorry.
today 2-0 in our
I
category.
hate a zero.
Who has it better than us? Yeah, Tim knew he was in over his head right away, but he had the moxie to call in. He's also a Marine, says the Marines are the toughest branch.
See, I thank you, Tim. I knew that. That's why I gave you that. I gave you that credit this
Why
morning.
would Octopussy be the theme to The Spy Who Loved Me?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Makes no sense at all, Woods. Your James Bond movie knowledge is just kind of.
Was there a song called Octopussy?
No, I don't think so.
Octopussy. There should be.
Not sure what the theme song to that movie was. But
Where does Octopussy rank on the Mount Rushmore of
Bond
James
movies?
Bond movies?
It's not a bad one.
Number one for name, period. This doesn't get any better than that.
Has Adam wrecked his car yet? That's the other question I have.
I would like Ben to come up with the theme song. See if ChatGPT will write us up a theme song for the movie Octopussy. I'll do that right now on the break, actually.
Sounds good. We also have Don't Do This when we come back. You've got some audio for us?
Yes, we do have some audio.
The theme song is called All Time High by Rita Coolidge.
Oh.
Not one of the all-time great James Bond theme songs, obviously.
Right. Yeah, we've got some audio, hot mic audio. It's never good.
All right, we'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, don't do this. Couple of stories that make you shake your head. We had no shortage of candidates over the weekend. I mean, the DDTs that hit the cutting room floor today. I mean, we had a college basketball team that had to turn their plane around due to horseplay on a flight.
That's in the Reindl Report.
The audio from the control tower.
You do? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's the Utah AD getting on and whining about officials and
got fined $40,000. Seems to hate the Big 12. Come back to the Pac-12. They'd love to have you, Utah.
Bro, we have we can get to some of this stuff today.
Florida's basketball coach, who appears to be a giant creeper,
correct?
But he's still coaching. I don't get that at all.
I don't either.
But let's get started with the actual DDT stories here.
Well, this one was jarring. And speaking of creepers, Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco was arrested again yesterday in San Juan de la Maguana, 116 miles west of Santo Domingo in the DR, after what police sources says was an altercation in the parking lot of an apartment complex in which guns were drawn. Some of the men in the altercation were carrying firearms, did not specify which ones. Police sources confirmed that Franco and an unnamed woman were being held for questioning following the incident. So trouble is continuing to find Wander Franco wherever he goes. And, you know, at that point, you have to wonder, is trouble finding you or are you finding trouble, Wander? He is, as you know, on indefinite administrative leave from Major League Baseball. He's got a trial in the DR on December 12th. This case involves charges of sexual abuse, sexual exploitation against a minor, and human trafficking, which could result in sentences up to 20 years, Ben.
It would be, I think, at this point, an incredible surprise if we ever saw Wander Franco in baseball again.
Pretty much done.
We can probably retire him at this point from DDT. He's not even a figure in sports anymore because I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's going to get the opportunity to come back.
It's just wasted talent, man. One of the bright young stars of baseball, and look at him now. It's not going well for Wander Franco.
Paul, you've got some audio for us on DDT.
Yeah, hot mics will get you.
Oh, they'll get you.
So this happened on Friday, I believe. John Wertheim is a sports broadcaster, journalist, etc., and he is a correspondent on the Tennis Channel. And he was being brought in on their studio show. He was doing it via Zoom or somehow remotely from his office. And so you got the desk and you've got the two hosts, and they're coming back like from a commercial break or going to a commercial break. I'm not sure. Either way, in the background on the screen, you can see John Wertheim, and he's getting ready to do his segment, and he's kind of doing the, he's like looking at himself in his camera and just making sure he looks good.
Yeah.
And he had some disparaging comments about Barbora, can't say her last name, I'm so sorry.
Krejcikova.
Krejcikova?
I think it's something like that.
She was the Wimbledon women's champion, and, well, here's what he said.
What do you think I am, Barbora Krejcikova? Look at the forehead when Krejcikova and Jung take the court. 8 head.
8 head.
We're live. He had a hot mic, and he was looking at his forehead and making rude comments about her forehead. And he has been suspended from the Tennis Network indefinitely. And, hot mics will get you, and I guess rightly so. Like you deserve everything you get. You can't do that.
Look at that. Look at my. It's like us coming back from break. I mean, look at my forehead. Look at my forehead. Look at Ben's forehead. 8 head.
Didn't we have giant discussion about your armpits on the last show?
We did, but that was.
You're allowed to have a discussion about your own armpits.
Uh-huh.
You just can't talk about anyone else's armpits.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Especially on a hot mic. I don't know why we would be talking about someone else's armpits, but you certainly spent a lot of time talking about your own.
Uh-huh.
How are they, by the way? Any improvement over the weekend?
No.
Same.
Still on fire. Yeah. Haven't really done any.
None of these 700 deodorant suggestions.
Well, I got to get through the ones. I got to get through the deodorant I have. I can't throw it away.
You.
I can. I just haven't yet.
The guy who accuses me of being a penny pincher.
It's not even that. It's laziness.
You're not willing to switch out your deodorant until it's gone.
Can I be honest? I honestly have not had time to wade through the 176
$4
submissions.
stick of deodorant. You need to.
It's funny
you need
that
to
you
use
think,
the last drop of that before you're going to switch to something that's not causing your underarms to burn.
It's funny that you think that these deodorants that people are recommending are $4. Some of the ones are like $24.99, and I'm like, do I want to make that jump? Do I want to make that jump yet? Maybe, but I still have to go in and do the trim underneath. I haven't done that yet. I'm panicked about that. I kind of don't want to see. You know, it's kind of like you see something on the ground and a blanket is covering it. Do you really want to pick that up and see what's under there? No, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'll get to it this week.
Finally, a little do this.
DD mega do-do.
We've been following the story in this segment for some reason of the passing of Kirk Herbstreit's dog, Ben.
Yes,
we haven't.
I have. So I'll give you the good update.
It's been your favorite story.
This weekend in Baton Rouge, another college game day, and Kirk Herbstreit brought one of his new puppies with him to college game day. Apparently, Ben has been quickly replaced in the Herbstreit household. I apparently already had some puppies before his tragic loss of his dog to cancer, Ben, and the outpouring of support and love from all of college football. Even Raising Cane's took out a billboard to honor Ben for all of his happiness that he brought to Kirk in the world of college football. But now there's a new puppy. Don't know if he's going to be making the rounds every week with Kirk Herbstreit like Ben did, but
Peter,
sounds
he
like
looks
people
just like
just
Ben.
like a little tiny Ben.
Peter is the new dog.
Peter.
And so I saw College Game Day the other day, and they had this dog roaming around, and I thought to myself, oh, no, not a lot of morning time there for the first one. Quickly replaced. Is that the move if you lose your pet, the pet that you love so much that did all the traveling with you? You're like, I can't not have a dog here. So he gets a new dog. He didn't get a new dog. He already had it.
I think he's already had some new dogs.
So Ben's been traveling the world and riding on PJs and everything, and now the other guys are like, cool, our time? Thanks, Kirk.
Peter's excited. Gets to show up now to the big events.
Yeah. He was sitting on his ass at home watching Dad on TV.
What do we think about naming dogs people names versus, like
I think it's great.
Bruiser, or you can just name him
Mike. Mike the dog.
How come no one names their dog Mike? I didn't think anyone named their dog Peter or Ben, though. Well, Ben is a dog name, I guess. Yeah.
Also a name of a rat.
That's
in a Michael Jackson song. Ben. The two of
Peter's
us
that's an unusual one.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of a dog named Mike.
No, I haven't either. Our beloved Hillary. Hillary from 91X, she has a dog named Dave, and it just lays me out. I think it's
hilarious.
I think she named him like David Lee Roth, and he goes by Dave. And it's just it's the greatest.
I will say, I'll give it a don't do this as well on that same story. Making that man on Saturday morning, he had to narrate this produced feature on Ben, and he's just weeping through it. And the lead in to it, I was watching College Game Day. They're like, all right, Kirk, tell us about this next feature. And he's just he can't get the words out. He's still extremely in the grieving process. And they're just like, come on, Kirk, talk, speak, come on, let's get it out. And he's just like, I'm sorry. I can't.
My God.
And it's just, I'm like, guys, move on.
Yeah.
The man has been through it this week.
He's clearly moved on as well, since he had another dog there with him that very next day.
I love the dog names in our chat here.
Joel.
Norman. Joel.
That's good. My friend John had a dog named Bill, which was great. Bill the dog was amazing. All right, we got a jam. We got an interview.
All right, we got J.J. Cooper from Baseball America will join us to talk about Rōki Sasaki's posting and what it could mean for the Padres and the rest of the league. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I think Woods is just worried we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. So he's actually taking the tack that just assume the Dodgers are getting Rōki Sasaki and be pleasantly surprised if he goes to the Padres or anywhere else.
When in doubt, yep.
What is really going to be happening over the next couple of months? We got a special guest joining us right now. He's the editor-in-chief for BaseballAmerica.com. Been covering Rōki Sasaki, knows more than most about the Japanese pitcher who is going to be posted. JJ Cooper joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. JJ, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well, man. I need you to make us feel just even a little bit better. You see all the tweets coming out over the weekend, and they're actually handicapping it now, JJ. I don't know if you've seen, but like John Heyman, Bob Nightingale saying, oh, no, it's about 85% done to the Dodgers. Padres have about a 10% shot, and the field has about a 5% shot. Now, we've heard this before. We've seen it play out with Shohei, and Yamamoto is obviously a different story, but you know, how legit is 10% to the San Diego Padres, in your opinion?
I would say that in my reporting, the Dodgers and the Padres are the two teams that come up as like, here's the case for why he's going to end up there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because this is unique. I mean, this is a weird situation because on the one side, this is a player that all 30 teams should be trying to acquire.
Yeah.
Right? Because when Shohei Ohtani hits free agency, let's just be honest about it, there are 20 teams like the Kansas City Royals, the Minnesota Twins, the Cincinnati Reds, the Miami Marlins. All those teams, they're not part of the discussion, right? They're not going to devote $40 million of payroll to one player, even if it's deferred. But this case, we're talking about a player who's going to be coming over for fractions of what he's worth, right? We're talking about one of the best young pitchers in the world, and to acquire him is going to cost somewhere between $2 and $8 million in a signing bonus and major league minimum, basically, for the next 2 years.
Wow.
So everyone should want that. Now, he has a choice, though. He gets to choose where he wants to go, and that's why the Dodgers, who obviously are the preeminent team in baseball right now, the World Series champs, and a team that has done very well has multiple Japanese stars already, but then the Padres have Rōki Sasaki's best friend in baseball in the major leagues in Yu Darvish. So both of these teams have kind of like a logic to them, although, again, this is a player that all 30 teams should be trying to acquire.
JJ, I've heard some of the arguments. I don't know which ones I believe, though. Why is Rōki Sasaki coming over now when if he waited 2 years, he could get a Yamamoto-like payday? His team could reap the benefits of that as well. Why is he feeling so urgently the need to come over to Major League Baseball this time around?
So, again, this is all a little bit, this is my, reporting, talking to people, but it's all secondhand and thirdhand. Rōki Sasaki has not, laid out to me his thought process. Let me be clear here. But from what I understand, Rōki Sasaki always has wanted to come to the majors. He almost went that route straight out of high school. And although, again, it is rumored and all, but it's talked about that it's very likely that one of the ways that Chiba Lotte was able to sign him was a promise that they would help him get to the U.S. more quickly than the normal path. We saw this with Shohei Ohtani. Now, there is a little difference. Shohei Ohtani came over roughly the same age, but when Shohei Ohtani came over, you could kind of make the argument that while he was foregoing millions of dollars, although I don't think that Shohei Ohtani is going to, go broke anytime soon. It's worked out quite well for him. But he had accomplished almost everything he could accomplish in Japan. He had won a Japan series. He had become a star slugger and a star pitcher, right? He'd already done all that. In Sasaki's case, he is coming over, and you kind of have to say that it's never fully come together. He's had moments of dominance. He had the best 2 back-to-back games, I think, that anyone in baseball history has ever pitched. He threw a perfect game, and he followed it in his next start by throwing 8 innings of a perfect game before they pulled him because he had thrown a complete game, perfect game in his previous start as a 20-year-old. So, I mean, that's remarkable, but he's yet to have that season where he put the team on his back as their ace, and he's coming over to the U.S. having not done that yet. But he's always wanted to come to the U.S., it seems like. It's kind of been the story of his plan all along.
Talking to J.J. Cooper here from Baseball America on Ben and Woods. And, J.J., I can remember vividly, we didn't know a lot about Shohei Ohtani when he first got here. And you would read these stories, oh, man, he is just a baseball rat. And when he's not playing baseball, he's thinking about baseball. He is really quiet, likes to go play video games, sleeps 15 hours a day, and is just consumed by baseball. What do we know, if anything, about the personality of Rōki Sasaki? Because, we talked about it earlier in our program today. Look, if you're a guy like Rōki Sasaki that's never had to put a team or hasn't been able to put a team on his back yet because of some injuries, in my mind, like the Padres are a pretty good fit. You come in, you could be an ace right away. You go to the Dodgers, you might get lost in the shuffle a little bit. He's probably their 3 or their 4 on day one. But what do we know about his makeup, his personality, if anything?
He's already endured a lot. And when he was a 9-year-old, there was earthquake that basically he lost his father and his grandparents, right? So he kind of went through a lot at a very young age. And, again, like this is all kind of secondhand, but like it was something where he, so he had to grow up very quickly. And then there does seem to be this subtext of the way I've had him described to me is you are talking about a guy who at his best has an exceptional fastball and exceptional splitter. I'm talking as good as anybody. Now, what we haven't seen yet is where it all clicks, and he's got control, too. Like, you kind of look at it and say, he's been incredible at his best, but you kind of ask, why hasn't he had that season already where you say, oh, he's just the best pitcher in Japan? And there's been, injuries. There's been it does seem like in some ways almost it does seem like it would not surprise me if everything clicked in the U.S., in the major leagues, in a way it hasn't yet. I mean, he is still very young. We are talking about a pitcher who's basically Paul Skeen's age, right?
Yeah.
And so he's had 4 years pitching in the MPB, but if Paul Skeens had a good year this year, but not an incredible year in the majors, we wouldn't be saying what's wrong with Paul Skeens. Why hasn't it all clicked yet?
Right.
So this is a pitcher whose the future is very bright, and it's really more ahead of him than behind, is the way I would put it.
That's
so,
a good point.
If you told me, and to go back to, for whatever team lands him, this is the safest, quote, gamble you'll ever face.
Yep.
Because the analogy I will also use on this isn't, again, they're different pitchers, but if you said that Spencer Strider or Garrett Crochet was available on the free agent market for a few $1 million and they were going to sign a minor league contract, so you would have team control for 6 years and they're going to be major league minimum for the next several years. 30 out of 30 teams would be like, where do I sign up for this?
Yep.
Well, Spencer Strider's had 2 Tommy John surgeries already, right? So there's some durability risk there with Spencer Strider, but at his best, he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher. Rōki Sasaki has yet to have the season where he throws 108 innings. He yet to have the season where he throws 150 innings. But it's not really a risk when you're talking about that he's going to sign a deal that, the team that signs him, the other player they would be giving that to is a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, Latin American prospect who it might all come together or who might never make it out of, Class A. So this is kind of like the safest, quote, bet that anyone could take, because we've also seen the track record. We saw not just Yoshinobu Yamamoto last year, but look at Shota Imanaga. Look at what we've seen from, a number, Kodai Senga a couple of years ago coming over to the Mets. The track record of Japanese starting pitchers coming over is pretty good.
JJ, how you mentioned, what the money could go to, and that is guys like Ethan Salas and Leo Dallas DeVries, who the Padres have spent on the last couple of years. This would come out of that international bonus pool. Now, I understand that most of those teams have probably already planned their spending for 2025. AJ's been scouting in, Latin America for years to get ready to sign these players. Will they likely have to abandon that class if they end up signing Rōki Sasaki? And will that cause problems for a team that changes their plan, at the last second to give that money to Sasaki?
So this is where this does get tricky, right? So one of the things we're going to have to look for is when does he get posted? Okay? Because if he gets posted before December 2nd, so this is where this gets really interesting. We are currently in the 2024 international signing period, okay? Which makes sense. We're in 2024. That period ends December 15th. From December 15th, no one can sign after December 15th, no international amateurs and no international non-foreign pros, because he's obviously not an amateur, but he doesn't meet foreign pro standards for this. You can't sign between December 16th and January 14th. January 15th, the 2025 signing period begins. Well, but there's also a 45-day window once a player is posted from Japan. So if he's posted on December 1st, November 25th, whatever, then you're talking about this year's signing period, and then you are talking about if that happens, I would say it's even more likely that the Dodgers sign him. The Dodgers have set some money aside. They still have they have the most money available in the 2024 remaining in their 2024 budget. If he doesn't post till December, which by the way, if you're Kiba Lotte, you get 20%. You get 20% of whatever he signs for as your posting fee. So it would be, to be honest, to me, it would be negligent on Kiba Lotte's part to post him before December 2nd. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because if you click it over to the 2025 signing period, instead of him signing for $2.5, $3 million at most, you're talking about him signing a deal that's probably going to be more in the $5, $6, $7, $8 million range. And then again, it's a fraction of what he's worth if he came over the free agent, but you'd be talking about your Kiba Lotte, instead of getting $200,000, $400,000, you'd be getting $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million. But at that point, then it becomes really challenging, because do you blow up your international class to try to sign Sasaki, which means having those really difficult decisions where you say, hey, I know we promised you this, but we didn't know that Rōki Sasaki was going to be available. We still may want to sign you if we don't get Sasaki, but if we can, we'd have to go back on our deal because it's not an official deal yet. That's going to be a tough call for all these teams to make.
JJ, really appreciate it. Good insight, and we'll obviously be following this closely over the next couple of months. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And by the way, there is one caveat on that bonus pool, and we can talk about that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Plenty of stuff going on this morning, guys, especially in the North County, so let's start there. South 5 coastline past Tamarack. 4 or 5 vehicles involved in this collision. It's got the fast lane blocked. Also collision to East 78 at Los Postos. It's in the center divide. Up ahead, another crash past Nordall Road. That is over to the right shoulder. You also got double trouble on South 15 at Rancho Bernardo Road. Collision in the fast lane, then further down before Scripps Pelly Parkway. Accident over to the right shoulder. Also around the county, crash blocking middle lanes on northbound 805 right before Sweetwater. Then up ahead near El Cajon Boulevard, there is a collision over the right shoulder, car and motorcycle involved. And Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on the Rayo Drive on-ramp to westbound 54. Stop by Indian 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. Usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Fenton Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So obviously money is not the biggest factor with Rōki Sasaki, or he wouldn't be coming over right now. We can say that with a great degree of certainty. But if he does want to maximize his earnings, they're going to wait, as JJ said, until after December 2nd, so he can take advantage of the new bonus pool. And I did read that teams can trade for up to 60% more of their bonus pool. AJ did it last year.
Yeah.
Sent a prospect somewhere, pick up another, $600,000, million, whatever in your bonus pool to increase it. So if it is money is the issue, there's ways around
To
that.
get money. Yeah.
And they will do that if they have to land Rōki Sasaki. But we will see how this plays out. Really interesting story. All right, we'll come back. 2 more hours of Ben and Woods still to come. Don't go away. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Had the day off yesterday, company holiday. We didn't have any say in it, right? It was directed at us. We had to take the day off. I enjoyed it.
Could we have shown up and done a show with, like, we have been stopped at the door?
No, yeah, not allowed.
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, they said can't. Unfortunately, you could work, but
it's insurance.
Yeah,
some sort of insurance liability or something.
There was something.
Yeah,
listen,
totally.
had we signed Rōki Sasaki on Sunday, we would have been here yesterday, just so you know. But listen, I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Thank you to J.J. Cooper. He was fantastic. I thought I had heard that story about him losing his grandfather. It brought it back to my memory, and I want to do a little more research on that. That's sad.
It was that
tsunami,
earthquake with a
wasn't it?
huge tsunami that wiped out, just devastated the whole province there in Japan. And yeah, he lost multiple members of his family
So sad,
in that
gee.
earthquake.
So sad, man. So yeah, he's obviously pitching for more than baseball. I guess that's a really, really sad story. But Adam does say in the chat we could have worked and banked a day off to use later. Now we have unlimited vacation here.
Adam or anybody when they say that.
I don't believe any of. It's hard for us to trust management here because we often see the email. Like there was one that came out and it said, if you guys, not you guys in particular, but we here at Odyssey, you will be given 2 hours off of work to go vote. Now, I went and voted in the old school fashion. I never got my mail-in ballot. So I went and voted old school. I went to the polling place. I'd never done it before. It was actually quite thrilling. And I did it the old school way. And I just went after work. Now, at 8 that morning, I guess by law and by the email, I could have said, guys, I love you, but I'm going to go do my civic duty. And I would have just bounced at 8. And you guys would have, where are you going? Well, so
we get it all the time. Let's say the 4th of July
we're closing
is
early.
on a Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to shut the office down early today. We don't do that.
You get the email from the big boss.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody that's in the office.
Shutting it down at noon.
We're closing at noon, so you can get a jump start on your holiday weekend. And if you can't take off at noon, coordinate with your boss for another time to end your day halfway through.
So by that logic, we've banked about 6 weeks of vacation.
Yes.
So
half day at a time. Every holiday for the last 6 years.
Literally, every time that email comes in, I tell you guys, I go, let's call their bluff.
Let's call their bluff one time. That's it.
Wednesday, we're off at 8 o'clock.
We're done.
Figure it out. We're taking you up on your offer, Adam.
We're done. We're done. So Adam says we could have banked that day. I'd like to see my bank account of vacation. I'd like to see it at some point. I don't think it's available. It's one of those things at work where they're like, just trust us. It's here. We know what it is, but we can't tell you what it is per se. We had a great show on Friday.
Yeah.
The last hour of our show, Ben and Woods, was such a delight, and I left here on such a high, and I went home. And was playing ball in the street with Bo and my neighbor Ron, who's a huge tier 1, the biggest, man. Ron comes out, and he just stops in his front yard. He sees me out throwing with Bo, and he gives me one of these. And just starts clapping. And I looked at him, and I laughed. I said, what's up? He goes, I just finished your 9 o'clock hour. I am absolutely crying. Ben singing Papa Roach was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
It was so good.
Unbelievable.
And that was one of those things that you couldn't have scripted because we didn't know Papa Roach was going to be playing at Petco Park and Gallagher Square and all that. And I just popped in my head. I said, I don't know if Ben knows Papa Roach very well. It'd be nice to hear you sing it. Are you ready to sing some more today?
I am, if you want me to. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Well, I gave you the words.
Yeah, I have the words.
And
I don't have a tune, though.
Well, we got a tune for you, too. We had talked about earlier in Take on Woods, all the great Bond themes. And there's not a real good one for the movie Octopussy. So I had ChatGPT write up lyrics. It took all of 3 seconds. That's all they had to do.
How do songwriters even get paid anymore?
I don't know.
That easy.
It was that easy. So here is what it would sound like if there was a theme song to Octopussy.
In the shadows of the night, she moves so swift, a deadly beauty with a secret gift. with a heart of steel and a velvet touch. She'll take you deeper, she'll never say too much. She's the mistress of disguise with octopus eyes. You can't escape her grip, no place to hide. Her allure, her lies, she'll mesmerize. Chorus. Octopussy, the world's at her feet. She's got the power and the mystery in the ocean or the night sky high. She's the one no one can deny.
Can I do a producer's drop in real quick?
Do.
You really were singing it earlier.
I know. It wasn't
you
working.
started going into talking.
I'm more
Get
of a
back
talker.
to the vocals.
You're more Sam Hunt right now?
Yeah.
We need less.
We need you to sing it.
Octopussy, you won't know what's real.
Now we're talking.
Chasing shadows, turning the wheel.
That's it.
Undercover behind every lie. She's the woman who can make you die.
Oh, that's
a twist, a fate, a deadly game. A bond in trouble, but she's not the same. She's got a plan, a dangerous mind. She's the perfect partner or a trap you'll find. In the world of diamonds and disguise with octopus eyes, she'll take you down, then make you rise. No one can match her. She's your prize. Octopussy, the world's at her feet. She's got the power and the mystery. In the ocean or the night sky high, she's the one no one can deny. Octopussy, you won't know what's real. Chasing shadows, turning the wheel. Undercover behind every lie. She's the woman who can make you die.
Unbelievable. Absolutely incredible.
Wow.
It's very Sinatra. I get Sinatra vibes.
That's all I can really.
Tony Bennett, a little bit.
Tony Bennett, you mean the basketball coach?
Benny Tonit. It's really good. It's really good. That may be your karaoke wheelhouse.
Go to now?
You just wheelhouse, like that type of song. Kind of.
I've brought my own ChatGPT song to the karaoke night tonight.
I haven't. You guys mind just running this for me? That was fantastic. Well, and now they have a theme song for that brilliant film. I loved it. Yeah, the Vanilla Crooner. It's great. Knocked it out of the park.
It's tough when you don't really have a tune to follow.
No, but
you're just making it up as you go.
Kind of jazzy.
I have the lyrics.
Yeah, kind of jazzy.
But I didn't really have a tune.
Squirrely says, Kelly Danick going to report a dozen crashes after this. No, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it very much. Kind of hard to rebound from it.
So, the Aztecs
Sports.
football.
So, yeah. Lost again, yeah?
They did. They lost to New Mexico. The field looked horrible. They actually, we can't quite see it from here. We're very close to Snapdragon Stadium. Apparently, as soon as the game ended, they just tore up the turf and put in new grass. Finally, they were able to fix the field as it, yeah.
So it's fixed.
It should be fixed. By the time there's another game, which isn't for another couple of weeks, when the Aztecs come home for their home finale, they'll be on a brand new turf for the Holiday Bowl. Will be brand new turf. Should be hopefully back in shape.
There's no more wave games.
No more wave games.
SDFC doesn't start until
March.
March? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Got some time.
Hopefully
Holiday Bowl's at Petco again?
Hopefully it was just
No,
it's back at Snapdragon.
Oh, it's
now.
at Snap. Yeah.
It's back at Snapdragon. Or it's at Snapdragon now. And they have a new turf field, which is now settling in.
Nice.
And hopefully by the next couple of weeks, we'll look and perform as it should.
Good.
And this was just a one-off, just a bad field that got put in. And when they put in a bad field, there's not much you can do about it.
Bad batch.
Yeah.
I had a buddy go to the game on Friday night
Yes.
with his son. He texted me, and he goes, he had a list of
gripes.
He goes, I don't understand. I cannot fathom how somebody would go there a second time right now. He said the food options were okay.
Ooh.
There wasn't a whole lot to do.
What do you mean there's a whole lot to do? You're there to watch a game.
You got a kid. You never know.
You mean,
he's like I think he said his kid wanted ice cream. Couldn't find ice cream. A bowl, a cone, nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't find ice cream. He said the field looked horrendous.
He said there was sand kicking up.
there was hardly anyone there.
12,745 turnstile, lowest attendance in Snapdragon Stadium history on Friday night.
And he said, and the product on the field was as bad as the field looked.
Now, Spencer said they've got CIF football there a week from Friday, so it should be
hopefully 2 weeks of letting it settle in. Like don't stay off the grass for 2 weeks,
like
and by
a
then
golf
it
course.
should be should be good to go. Hopefully by the time they play the CIF football championship game.
Well, at least there's Aztecs basketball to look forward to tonight, Ben, against Occidental.
Yes. Unfortunately, had some bad news. According to the Union Tribune, Miles Bird twisted his ankle in practice
my
yesterday.
beloved.
Now, they don't need Miles Bird for this game.
No.
They really don't. I mean, their backup should be able to win this game. It's a Division III team. They're more looking ahead to Monday when Gonzaga comes to town.
You want to make sure Miles is 100%
yeah,
by that
so they'll be careful. Don't really need him for this one. This should be an easy win. Doesn't even count in your metrics because it's not a Division I opponent.
Okay.
Just a chance to fill up VAS Arena and get some playing time for everybody.
Yeah, sharpen the skills.
Yeah, show what you learned in your first game, close win over UCSD. Play tonight, but really the focus will be on Monday. Gonzaga, which is now a top 10 team in the country. They actually got pushed by Arizona State. I was watching that game on Sunday to the wire, so maybe San Diego State got some good film on ways to attack Gonzaga when they come. But that's one everybody should be looking forward to in a few days. Today should be a win, either way against a Division III school, but they are definitely looking ahead to Monday.
Probably no line available tonight.
Probably not against a Division III team.
Set yours. We'll do our own.
Non-scholarship.
Set your line. 41.
I was going to say 37.5.
I was going to say 39.5.
39.5. All right. I'll take the Aztecs. You have to take Occidental.
All right, that's fine.
All right. Aztecs covered 39.
Try to win your $10 back from the
10 spot back
from the last one.
All right, let's go Aztecs. No Miles Bird, so
maybe not. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how he feels and what they decide is best for the program.
What time's the game?
7:00 tonight, Channel 4.
Okay,
watch it on Your View.
Oh, we can see our favorite commercials for
that's right.
Men's health, as it were. Steel
Morgan.
pills.
It's just nothing
Morgan
but like
Morgan.
national
men's
attorneys.
Men's steel pills. What are those for? Longevity.
Exactly.
Right. So we get to watch that.
Steel lasts a long time, is what they say.
Freak Nasty. He says, I'm driving with my 3-year-old daughter, and she's like, "Why are you laughing, Daddy?" I had to tell her, Ben singing Octopussy is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Knew it would be.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
Thank you, Freak Nasty. Does your 3-year-old daughter know that your online name is Freak Nasty 619? That's what I want to know.
All right.
Daddy, why do they call you Freak Nasty 619? Don't ask. Don't ask. Don't tell.
All right, a couple other baseball moves went down over the weekend that did not involve your San Diego Padres. We can get you caught up on the early Hot Stove League moves and more coming up after a quick check of traffic. Back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go. Black 17 on. That is my number. All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go. Black 17 on. That is my number. All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Well, we focused just a bit on the Rōki Sasaki upcoming sweepstakes because we feel like the Padres will be major players, and certainly they will go all out to try to land Rōki Sasaki. We haven't talked as much about Juan Soto because I don't think anyone here imagines the Padres are trying to get Juan Soto back for the price tag of $600 to $700 million, but it does seem like they're moving along in an orderly fashion. Juan Soto has scheduled a number of visits with teams, including the New York Mets. I believe the New York Yankees, obviously, are still in it. I've seen a visit with the Toronto Blue Jays, I believe, that is on the books as well.
Poor Toronto's going to get Shohei again. They're going to get all excited. Remember that guy, JP Morosi, tweeting that Shohei was en route to Toronto to sign his deal? And nope. Sure wasn't.
But, we've been told that there's no reason that Soto has to rush his deal. Scott Boras has traditionally been a guy that stretches the clock a little bit to try to squeeze every last dollar out of teams in contracts.
That's why we need Ben Boras in there to just get the deal closed.
But I will say, if Scott Boras learns any lessons at all, he does not want all of his clients waiting until the end of the offseason to sign. That did not work out well for him last year, and a lot of teams are going to have to wait on Juan Soto's decision before they can start handing money out to everybody else. So
yeah, because if you want Juan Soto and you budgeted for Juan Soto and you don't get Juan Soto, or let's say you do get Juan Soto,
changes a lot.
It changes the. Talk about creating plan after plan. This is life with Soto. This is life without him. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. What is our pivot point if we don't? If Steve Cohen doesn't go out and get Juan Soto, does that mean Pete Alonso is more likely or less likely to go back? You know what I'm saying? So he really does kind of hold the keys.
It is why it must be tough to be an agent for multiple players, knowing that what one player does and signs affects another one of your clients.
And that's two examples of Scott Boras clients right there.
What if Juan Soto, if he wants to make every last dollar, and Scott Boras says, hey, I think the plan is to wait until spring training, and we're going to wait and push every last dollar. But then he says to the other clients, well, I'd like to sign now, but we can't really do anything until Juan Soto signs. Well, have him sign. Well, it's not really in his best interest to sign yet. Yeah, but they're not going to have any money left by the time we wait for me. Well, that's your problem. But it's not. You're your agent as well for other players. So how do you manage the best strategies for everybody?
I don't know how he's done it the last 20, 30 years or however long he's been in the game. I mean, that's something that he deals with on a year-by-year basis. And really only last year have we seen it not work out in his favor. And I think, owners are getting more, cheap, and owners are getting, I guess they would say, wiser to his strategies. But you look at Montgomery. I just saw a tweet that just came out. Jordan Montgomery, the Diamondbacks are looking to move his salary, and they're looking to move him as a player, and they're going to eat some of his salary. So he was a former Boras guy. They waited till the last minute. He had a terrible year. He didn't have a spring training, and on we go. Blake Snell has been in this limbo for the last couple of years. Yeah, man, Pete Alonso still having Scott Boras as his agent has got to be a little bit tough, because Pete feels like I'm a marquee name. I'm a 40 home run a year hitter, and I got to sit and wait to decide what this guy does. And the team that I potentially leaving, they may want him, but they can't have both of us. I mean, what an S show.
It's the dilemma. Do you go with Bob Sugar's agency, or do you go out on your own with Jerry Maguire? He doesn't have the resources, but you are his only client. He's serving your needs 24/7, or do you go with the power agency that has lots of different clients and has to divide their attention among them?
You love me now, don't you, Jerry? Yes, very much. It's why Ben and I have the same agent, and we agree to the same salary, because this is how bad it could suck. What if we had separate agents? Can you imagine how terrible it would be? We would hate each other. It
would be awkward.
It'd be so. What'd you get? I'm not telling you. What did you get? No. How much did you get? Just say it.
I got this. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
Totally. Whew. Yeah, it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario. Now, listen, not a nightmare, because everyone's going to get paid at some point. But you want to make sure you go to the right place for the right money and all of that. I don't know how the dude manages. I really don't.
Meanwhile, a couple other moves over the weekend. The Florida Marlins have hired a new manager, and it is the Dodgers' first base coach, Clayton McCullough, who gets the job. Not the most enviable job in Major League Baseball, but again, there's only 30 of them.
1 to 30.
When you get an opportunity to become a Major League Baseball manager, the Marlins have decided, hey, we're going with the championship pedigree of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know if that carries over to an organization that's not going to spend the way the Dodgers do, or have the resources or the talent or the minor league system and the scouting that the Dodgers do, that just hiring their first base coach brings you any of that Dodger, success cachet. But that's the route the Marlins have went with their hire.
I think that's It's pretty standard,
It is.
It's pretty standard. I think there are organizations where you look at and say, yes, we like the way that they're currently doing things. We would love some more of that culture, that methodology in here. Now will the Marlins give him the tools he needs to win? And I don't just mean players. I mean, hey, man, this is what we do. We always hear about the Dodgers being on the forefront of technology and all that. Yeah, I mean, it makes their job a lot easier.
And let's not lie about it. The new Padre way, the new culture is
it's the Cardinal way.
Suspiciously like the Cardinal way.
Very, very suspiciously like the Cardinal way.
They stealing it straight from the Cardinals, thanks to Mike Schilt. But hey, if it worked for them, maybe it can work for you. The Marlins are going to say, hey, it's working for the Dodgers. Hopefully he can implement some of that with the Marlins and see if it works for us. And that's okay. I mean, you steal from people who are successful in sports. That is a common practice and one that is not going to stop anytime soon. So you poach talent, you poach coaches, you poach front office members.
I like this. The Cardinal way.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Thank you, Carlos. The Cardinal way.
Combine them both. Speaking of now some Padres going on and doing things, the Phillies promoted Preston Mattingly to general manager under Dave Dombrowski. Mattingly was a former Padres employee from 2017 to 2021 in the A.J. Preller administration.
Sharp dude, man.
Was always expected to go on to kind of bigger and better things. He was kind of a game planning coordinator and major league scout at the big league level for the Padres.
You guys remember, I never got a chance to talk to him. And his dad was one of my favorite baseball players ever growing up. Don was one of my favorites. And I can vividly remember him out like working with infielders and outfielders, and remember going, God, who is that? And somebody in the front office was like, oh, that's Don Mattingly's kid. It's like, you're kidding. And they're like, don't get used to him. He's not going to be here long. But again, he's got he came up through us and through A.J. Preller. So again, the arms and the tentacles around baseball are far reaching from the San Diego Padres, Ben. So good for him, man. That's a big gig and a big market. So it'll be interesting to see how he does it.
And then one player move yesterday. The Atlanta Braves acquired infielder Nick Allen from, not Oakland, the Ath. They acquired him from Ath for, was it just money? Cash considerations, I believe. Nick Allen, Francis Parker High School, so another local infielder.
There it is.
Tommy Edmond Light, I guess you could call Nick Allen. But he goes to the Atlanta Braves from the Ath in one of the first moves here of the offseason.
Sounds good. Saw a tweet come across my feed this morning. I have retweeted it. It's got me a little bit spun out.
Spicy.
It's spicy as all get out.
It's from someone that I've known for many years. It involves one of our favorite baseball players.
Yes.
And it involves the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, our favorite baseball team. So we'll read the spice for you next.
All right, that is coming up. Interesting. Coming up after a quick timeout with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, what an appropriate song. It's the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end of what, Woods?
I don't know.
You're very spun out by this tweet that you saw.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way, but go ahead. Bring it up. I think it's a credible person, someone that I've known for many years. I think he's a tier one. Maybe he's listening right now. But read the tweet, and then we'll talk about it coming up in this segment.
Now?
Yeah, read it now.
JT Rogan tweeted this
Former
morning.
USD running back, coach at Michigan under Jim Harbaugh. Good San Diego dude, has been on this radio station before.
It says, I talked to Blake Snell this morning, Snellzilla. He wants to pitch in San Diego, but Preller told him that they don't know if the Peter Seidler-less ownership group is committed to significant future spending. Time will tell.
It's a great day to be a Padre. Let's go.
I agree, Blake. Always a great day.
I've got thoughts on that. You've got some thoughts and questions about that. Mm-hmm. And we will discuss said thoughts and questions right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Del Mar San Diego Reptile Expo. Get tickets at CentralValleyReptileExpo.com. Well, we still have a few problems out here, guys. One of them is a collision on the North 5 coastline before La Costa. Got a couple vehicles involved in this one, trying to move that out of the slow lane. Also reports of a collision on the Gopher Canyon off-ramp, southbound 15. In the South Bay, Rayo Drive on-ramp to westbound 54 crash in the clearing stage. Calling all reptile lovers. Don't miss the Reptile Expo on November 16th and 17th at the Hilton San Diego Del Mar. Snakes, lizards, turtles, gators, and more. Fun for the whole family, and kids under 3 are free. Get tickets at CentralValleyReptileExpo.com. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, I'm going to start with the assumption, and I think it's a fairly safe one, that JT Rogan is not lying and simply posting stuff on the internet that's not true.
For clout or something.
I believe that he talked to Blake Snell this morning.
I'd be interested to know the connection between those two guys.
I wouldn't be surprised that there's a connection in some way. So, talk to Blake Snell this morning. All right, that's the first sentence. I believe that. I will accept that as fact. Sentence number 2. He wants to pitch in San Diego. I will also accept that as likely true and something that Blake would even be willing to express to people.
My people.
Had a good time here in San Diego. Has never closed the door on wanting to return to the Padres. Pitched well here, won a Cy Young Award here. Why wouldn't he want to pitch in San Diego? Why wouldn't anybody want to pitch in San Diego?
Our buddy Will Holder says they're both in Seattle, so that does make a lot of sense.
There you go. He may just ran into him at Pike's Place Market. They're catching fish at the market right now this morning together.
Maybe one of those topless coffee bars up there.
That's Portland, I think.
Oh, I thought it was.
They have it in Seattle, too?
See, there you go.
We'll just have real coffee bars as well.
I've heard.
Why would you go to a real one when you could go to a topless one?
All right, so Blake Snell wants
Starbucks.
Blake Snell wants to pitch in San Diego. I will accept that as true as well.
Okay.
All right, now part 3. But A.J. Preller told him they don't know if the Peter Seidlerless ownership group is committed to significant future spending.
So that could be a convo between Blake and AJ. Hey, great season, did a lot of great things. If you're interested, I'm interested. I think that's above board. You can do that, I would imagine.
He's a free agent now. You can talk to him. You can talk to Scott Boras. You can do whatever you want at this point. All right, so this is the part that requires some interpretation. First of all, remember that any exchange between a general manager and a player is going to be fraught with, there's an undercurrent of tactics when it comes to negotiating. Perhaps A.J. Preller is interested. Perhaps A.J. Preller is not interested in Blake Snell. Only A.J. Preller could tell you for sure. But you don't want to burn any bridges either. So you're going to come up with a fairly neutral response. I mean, you're not going to go, yeah, we want to sign you for big-time money, and I just need to, convince ownership that we're going to do that.
Just get the rubber stamp, and we're good.
So you're not going to say that, and you're probably also not going to say, Blake, it was a good run while you were here, but we don't really have any interest in signing you. You're not going to say that either. So you're going to leave the door open and cracked in some way for potential future negotiations without overly committing or tipping your hand to Blake Snell, who obviously is going to report anything you say back to Blake, back to Scott Boras, his agent. Sure. They're going to have, tete-a-tetes and, conferences as they're trying to maximize his value and decide where he's going to pitch in the offseason. So remember, that statement, that part of the tweet by JT Rogan does have a strategic element to it and has a lot of context that goes along with it. Now, there's also, let's take it at face value. A.J. Preller says he doesn't know if the ownership group is committed to significant future spending. What's the definition of significant future spending? Are they already doing it? Is it more than what they're doing? Is it less than what they're doing? There's a lot of...
Unless they trade Manny, Fernando, and Xander, they're already committed to future spending.
That's a good point, Paul. They are already paying and will continue to make significant future investments in the roster no matter what.
How committed are they to additional future spending?
Correct, yeah. Future spending, that's not committed yet. Correct.
There's also a bunch of unknown factors. Where does the television revenue go from here? Are they going to sign a new deal? Will Major League Baseball have a new deal that will increase their TV revenues that could make even more additional future spending more palatable to the San Diego Padres? What does the business model look like? Woods, we were talking off the air, and you said, hey, they are selling out Petco Park almost every night, and they should reward the fan base with as much spending as they can to try to win a world championship. I tend to agree with you. At the same time, if I'm a business owner.
But you're not. You're a fan.
No, but if I'm a business owner of anything and I'm going like, okay, I'm going to invest in my product because what? I want to obviously grow my business. I want to sell more of my product. So I'm going to invest in my own infrastructure. In baseball, that's players. Players are your infrastructure to invest in. So if the Padres invest more money, maybe they'll get more fans to come to Petco Park. Wait, we can't really get more fans to come to Petco Park. Well, maybe we can charge more for the fans that are coming to Petco Park. Do you want to do that? Do the Padres, is that in there?
That. They're doing that.
They're already doing that. Do you think that they want it? Do fans want them to start charging more? If they're going to, sign more players and make significant future spending, would you like to see them increase ticket prices going forward to, absorb that future spending? Or do you want to keep them, ticket prices around where they are and not make a bunch of future spending? That money is going to come from somewhere. And if it's not TV, then it's probably from the fans at some point, because you can't really fill any more seats at Petco Park. You are almost maxed out on the number of tickets you can sell in your ballpark in a year. You've already set records the last 2 years. There's not much room for growth in terms of day-to-day attendance without increasing prices on things that are already, pretty high, as most Padres fans will tell you. Tickets, concessions. There's a lot of fans who go, I don't know how much more I will be able to absorb if they ask me to pay more. So where's that money coming from for a future additional spending?
Great question. Not my problem. Not even a little bit.
Well, Tony says maybe they should charge more for radio rights, and then maybe it would be somewhat your
Still
problem.
not my problem. I don't negotiate that deal. That's not my problem. It's
however you want to paint it. It's not Woods' problem.
No, exactly. The way that I look at it is, holy crap, we were really, really close last year. Really, really close. And you've never won one before. Get the first one. Get the one, and then you'll worry about the repercussions, the fall off, the rebuilds, the whatever you have to do. But you got to get that first one.
I do think winning a World Series, the Padres have already jumped from one or two echelons below in Major League Baseball to a new level of.
They're at a new level
of interest and respect around the league. But winning a title does take you to another level.
Indeed.
Look at what the Golden State Warriors did in basketball. They went from a pretty nothing team, Bay Area, whatever, to a dynasty, to one that is now a premier team in basketball. They make a lot of money off of that, and the Padres could do the same. A couple of championships would go a long way toward extending that love and support for a very long time if you could actually win. So I think there is arguments to be made to spend on a guy like Blake Snell, who could be a real difference maker going forward.
I agree, and it's not, again, it's not spend carelessly. It's not spend, I think every team should spend above their means, though. I do. I do think that so much is pocketed by, and again, you don't want to lump the Padres ownership group into the ownership group of the Cincinnati Reds or the Colorado Rockies, and
we have that miser index that shows the Padres are already spending,
they are.
Percentage-wise, much more than most teams in baseball.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And I think, continuing on that trend would be great. There has to be a way to get a guy of Blake Snell's caliber and make it work for everybody. That's what I'm saying. As I'm not saying you have to go out and get Soto. You got to go get Corbin Burns. You got to go get Blake Snell. You have to do that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but, a guy of Blake Snell's caliber, I think, to make it work, if he wants to be here, him working with Ruben.
Both sides got to be creative.
Both sides got to be creative.
Flexible.
100%.
Nobody's asking for a major discount or anything like that. You just got to find a way to make it work.
You got to find a way.
My God. We've been spending all morning talking about Rōki, Sasaki, and Woods in particular has been cautious and not letting yourself go there because it's pretty much been written. He's already pencil him into the Dodgers rotation, but my God.
Yeah, imagine.
Can you imagine a rotation?
Him for $600,000 and Blake Snell.
You lose Musgrove. You had questions about your 4 and 5 spots anyways. You go out and get Blake Snell
and Rōki
Sasaki.
And then you're a player.
Throw them into Yu Darvish, the Dylan Cease, Michael King.
You're a player.
God, that's a rotation.
You're a player. Period.
Yeah, and Yu Darvish. So you'd have 6.
Come on.
Top flight starters essentially to throw it, which would be good. If you have Sasaki, he's probably going to be a once a week type pitcher to start. So you'd want to think about a 6-man rotation the way The Dodgers have thought about it with Yoshinobu going probably forward.
And I don't want to look at that comment and take it as, oh, we're not going to spend. But I mean, all signs are pointing to basically everything we're hearing. And you'd have to put some faith and trust in the team that they're going to figure it out, because it'd be hard. It'd be hard, I think, after the vibes and the turnout and everything else last year to say, yeah, we're actually going to cut about 15 from and just see what we can do. Now, again, please remember, that team on opening day is going to look different than that team will on July, whatever the trade deadline is, because it always does. And it certainly did last year. What'd they say? About half the guys we started with, we finished, with half of it being different. So that's also something to take into account.
Ultimately, the best way to win in baseball and in any other professional sport in this country is to spend, but do it smartly.
Yeah.
And be smart in all the other areas of the game that don't require a lot of spending. Be smart in scouting, be smart in drafting, and then be smart in spending. But you do have to spend. It's very hard to win by not spending.
Correct.
We've seen a couple of teams do it when everything goes right and they have a magical season. But by the way, those Kansas City Royals teams, not like they've had an unrelenting, string of success. The only way really to do that is by spending smartly. We've seen teams
drafting well, getting Bobby Witt Jr.
We see teams spend a ton and don't have any success because they're not doing it smartly. You got to do both. You got to be smart about it, but you also have to spend. And the Padres have for the most part, they've spent. They've done some of it smartly. Some of it we can question, some of the decisions that they've made of how they've allocated that money over the last few years, and ultimately they haven't quite gotten where they want to go, which is win that World Series ring. They got to be a little smarter, or they got to spend a little more.
Yeah,
to get there.
A little both.
One
actually.
or maybe both.
Yeah,
to get there. They're close.
Got to do a little bit,
but they got to maybe a little more spending and a little bit smarter, and you can overcome the Dodgers and win that World Series title.
Absolutely.
Is Blake Snell smart money going forward?
It's a good question.
That's another good question.
And again, if you look at Blake Snell, I mean, again, I'm so colored by what I saw in the playoffs, right? And what the Dodgers were able to do with an elite bullpen. And I mean, again, you go back to the Jack Flaherty start. Guy gives up 5 runs, he's done. Are they out of it? No, they're not out of it. They end up winning that game, winning the World Series. Starting pitching is massively, massively important. But then again, you look at it and you go, what's the longest somebody went in the playoffs? Like 6 innings, right?
I mean, Darvish went 7?
Darvish went 7? Yeah, man. I mean, it is important, certainly, and you want to have those horses because you got to get there. But, man, having a few guys, a guy like Blake Snell could absolutely shut a team down 3 times in October and not even think twice about it, right? So he's one I look at and say, yeah, in October. Is he going to drive you nuts in May? Yeah, he is. Is he going to drive you nuts in June? Probably. Is he going to be lights out July, August, September, October? Yeah. Probably. It's Blake Snell. That's what he does. So, I don't know. I don't want to look at that statement as a blanket we're not going to spend, but it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still a question mark hanging over, what is it going to look like in a few years with the San Diego Padres? But it would also be unfair of me to say that the Padres haven't done about all that I could expect them to do to this point, to try to win baseball games.
No question. And why stop now is kind of my point. Like, keep your foot on the gas. Just because you won 93 games last year, great. Go win 95 and go out and advance around in the playoffs. Go win a pennant. You were this close.
And publicly, AJ Preller and Eric Grupner have said, winning it remains an important priority of the organization. They never attach a specific dollar figure to that, which is just the way, they operate on their business.
Most teams do, yeah.
And the way most teams do it. But I don't see the Padres going back in time to where they were a decade ago. One of the, 27th in payroll and happy to
I don't see that.
Happy to get 20,000 fans at Petco Park and, invite all the opposing fans to come in and make this your spot to come in. I don't see them going back
to
that.
One thing that they've done and has proven to be an effective strategy is if they have put some great players on this team. Some of them are still here, some of them are not. But when you put great players and you're an exciting team that people want to talk about, people want to come see you. They want to buy your merch. They want to be all about the San Diego Padres. So, you're seeing it now with the Dodgers. I mean, and as good as they've been for as long as they've been, Ben, they're more Dodger fans now than there were 3 weeks ago. Right? That's just the way that it goes. You win a World Series and people start talking
Are
about
there a
you.
lot of on the fence fans in San Diego that are just waiting, or have they won over most of those people already?
I think they've won over
That's the thing.
a majority
Are
of
there
those.
new fans to be
Oh, yeah.
cultivated
There
for
are.
the Padres
There are.
in San Diego?
Absolutely.
Or have they already, earned the fandom of most of them?
I think there's still more.
Then what are they waiting for? Just a championship.
Got to get a
Wow,
championship.
that is the ultimate bandwagon. I will become a
ultimate.
Padres fan the day they win a World Series,
true.
and not a second before.
It's true.
Come on.
I mean, when you're going after the kids, that's what the kids do. Go ask any kid what team they like. Who won the Super Bowl? They love the Celtics. They love the Chiefs. That's what happens. That's how you get the kids, man. You win rings.
Maybe a Padre needs to start going out with Taylor Swift if they can pry her away from Travis
No
Kelce.
kidding. And
help
like
too.
Tony says, and I believe this, there are Dodger fans waiting to be Padres fans. That I absolutely believe in.
All right,
absolutely.
final out. Woods has got a spicy topic coming up on the Fan. This is delicate, Woods. But you tweeted something yesterday.
Are we doing this here?
No, I mean we can.
Should we wait?
You want to wait?
I think you
9:30?
need to maybe tease
All right,
and warn.
So
give everybody a fair heads up.
If you follow Woods on Twitter, you might see the dilemma that he was dealing with his 6-year-old beau yesterday. But it's something that we have to be very careful talking about with a younger audience on the radio. Not because it's
dirty or anything.
But
we already do that.
We do that all the time.
You sang Octopussy earlier.
It's a James Bond movie, and you're the one who sent me the lyrics to the song.
That's true.
I just read them. So
the concern is the guy driving
Right.
in his car, and he's got his 4-year-old
yeah.
kid
If you've
with
got
him.
so
in
let's
the radio.
9:35. If you've got young children in the car, perhaps we will warn you a couple of times before then that there's a subject that is maybe something you don't want them hearing on the radio.
Yeah.
But hopefully by then,
they're at school.
They're at school, most of them. But we will keep that in mind for whatever reason. You got kids home from school today in the younger grades, not listening to Ben and Woods. We'll see. But that's the tease for later this hour.
We're kind of going against everything you've ever been taught in radio.
Yeah, breaking a rule here today. Expect to break a lot of rules
All the time.
All the time. Biggest rebel I've ever met in radio.
I am a rule breaker. Well, we have a lot of stories we didn't get to, so we'll give Paulie a little extra time here for his Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Excited for this Reindl Report. Some
Yeah,
bangers, dude.
It's kind of don't do this round 2, I think. We had so much going on this morning. So many don't do this stories. They've all just kind of filtered their way down into the Reindl Report.
Trickle down economics.
Yeah.
They trickle right down to the Paul Reindl Report.
Plus, you throw in a holiday weekend, an extra day over the weekend. Just so many stories to get to. We will start. We'll start in college football. So, Utah and BYU.
Yes. Oh, hated rivalry. I mean, heated rivalry.
Oh, yeah. None
They
of those
hate each other.
None of those colleges in the state of Utah, they all hate each other.
Man.
I remember I went to Vegas one year for the Mountain West tournament. Utah State fans, they were sitting next to me. They said they drove from Utah. It was like 12 hours or something. They drove from Utah to Las Vegas just to watch San Diego State hopefully beat BYU. They're like, we don't care.
That's some
We
hater
hate
ass.
BYU
Man, I love it
so much.
They are me at Halloween in the RIP Bozo outfit. That is brilliant.
It was
Paulie.
it was so good. Still remember those guys.
Wait, your team's not playing. Yeah, we came to watch you beat the crap out of those guys. Are you joking? No, we hate them so much. That's brilliant.
Sam Farnsworth is a sports anchor in Salt Lake City, and he posted over the weekend, this would have been Saturday, I've been in sports journalism for 22 years now in one form or another. I've never seen an athletic director come to the podium after a game, win or lose, and talk to the media. Utes AD Mark Harlan had a message and wanted to make sure that the Big 12 heard it loud and clear. I didn't even see how this game ended.
So here's what happened. So Utah was up 21-10 at the half on undefeated BYU, ready to pull off the upset at home. BYU pulled within 2. It was 21-19, but they had the ball late. So Utah needed a stop. It's 4th down, game on the line. BYU's going for the win, and there's an incomplete pass. Utah fans go nuts. They've won the game, except there was a flag on the field, a very questionable flag on the field. Utah was called for defensive holding, gave BYU new life, and they ended up kicking the game-winning field goal to win 22-21 after the Utes thought they had already won the game.
Yeah.
That led to the post-game presser. Again, this guy that covers the sport for 20 years, covers college sports, he said, I have never seen an athletic director just step up to the podium. Here's what Utah athletic director Mark Harlan had to say after the game.
I've been an athletic director for 12 years. This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gets up, walks away.
The not fair bit. I told you guys, it's a big thing in our house. Not fair. It's football, right? Isn't it football? It's just football. You blew a big lead, right? And then you go on and you cry foul or sour grapes or spilled milk or whatever. Again, now listen, I'll tell you this right now. If a kid did it, if the defensive lineman got up there and said that, I'd give him a little bit more leeway, right? He's an emotional kid, a player. You're the boss, man. When the boss comes on, it's like, it's not fair. I don't like it. That cannot happen. And our beloved Janine, she was in the chat earlier. She's a Utah fan. She's like, I'm mortified. I'm absolutely mortified that our AD did that. Not a good look for him. Do you agree, Benjamin?
Well, it's certainly not a responsible and sportsmanlike view.
Not even a little bit.
I'm sure that he probably satisfied some of his fan base who was just as outraged. But, it's a holding call. It's always going to be a judgment call.
It's always a little bit subjective, right?
You can always see two sides of it on something like that. Looking at different angles. Some people say, yeah, it should have been holding. Some people say it shouldn't have been holding. His reaction was an overreaction in the heat of the moment.
Man. That's something else. And he got fined how much? 40 grand?
40 grand. Now, I will say this. If he's that unhappy with the Big 12, the new Pac-12 would love to have Utah come back. Yeah. If you don't like the Big 12, Washington State and Oregon State and SDSU and Boise State would love to have Utah rejoin the Pac-12. Extend that invitation.
The head coach, Kyle Whittingham, basically, he said, look, we had one more stop to get. We didn't get it. That's it. That's it. We had a stop to make. We didn't get it. Couldn't get that last stop when we needed it. That's kind of been the story for several games. So he kind of took the high road there. Holy smokes.
I'm watching the replay, isolated. It's a cornerback on a wide receiver. They're at their own 10-yard line, so they still have to go 60-plus yards to get into field goal range.
Fourth down, right?
Briefly kind of touches him at the line of scrimmage. The wide receiver kind of stumbles a little bit. Could they have not called it? They definitely could have not called it. I don't know.
It's a big one. Big call, certainly. Big call. But again, did you let yourself get into that position? You did. Okay. Then it doesn't boil down to one call.
All right, we're moving over to college basketball now. From college football to the hoops, and Auburn and Houston was the game, but it was all that happened on Friday before the game. This game was played on Saturday evening. Number 11 Auburn versus number 4 Houston. Pretty good matchup there. And at some point on Friday afternoon, there was a post from another sports anchor that covers the Auburn school or sports program, and he says, new flight that appears to be the Auburn men's basketball team heading to Houston diverted back to Auburn this afternoon. Air traffic control audio that we've obtained shows a pilot in that airspace telling air traffic control we have a bunch of basketball players fighting. So mid-flight, the team, couple of players on the team started throwing punches, and they really got into it.
Same team.
So bad.
Auburn.
Yes. Teammates. So bad that the pilot decided we're not continuing this plane to Houston. I saw the flight map. They turned around.
I did it.
They landed back in Houston or in Alabama, and then they flew out the next morning, the morning of the game, and went on to win. Which the game itself was a great game, but the story was certainly these two players. Let's see, it was Jaquie Howard and Jaheim Hudson, reserve players, bench players. Don't know what got into it. Don't know what started it. But they got into a huge fight. Here's the audio that the reporter teased from air traffic control.
Yes, sir. We have got an altercation on board. We knocked to declare an emergency and land. We got a bunch of basketball players fighting. The flight deck is secure. The threat level is contained for the moment. We just had police on the ground, and we had 2 players that got into physical altercation. Clothes were ripped, and one bloody player.
Bloody.
And Center 2681, it's kind of crazy. Were we direct Montgomery?
So what he basically said, yeah, it was contained. They solved the problem, but you had a couple of bloody players and a lot of emotions, and they said, we're turning this plane around. We're not going through with this. And then so they flew out the next morning, the morning of the game, which teams always try to avoid.
Correct.
Even if it's a short flight, you do not want to fly out, land, get into a hotel for an hour, then go back to the gym or anything like that. They went on to beat number 4 Houston 74-69.
Maybe it galvanized the
yeah,
team.
maybe.
Have you ever turned the car around as a dad?
No, threatened it, but
done
never
it.
actually done it.
I've
You've
turned
actually
this
turned
plane
the
around.
big dad pilot energy here. If you guys don't knock it off, I'm going to turn this plane around.
Did it on the way to a San Diego Padres game. Wife in the front, kids in the back, everyone fighting, losing their minds. Got all the way to Carmel Valley. I said, I'm not doing this. And I turned it around, and we went home.
Wow.
It was like a Friday night. I was like, it's not happening. Call my bluff one time, see what happens. And I whipped that thing around, went home, watched Mud and Don call the game, and ate the tickets. Monster.
Wow.
I don't mess around, Paul.
Is it a safety issue? I mean, the pilot is, I assume, locked in the cabin.
Correct.
As the
it's not a biplane.
regulations.
It's a
regulations
big plane.
are nowadays. They can't. No one's taking over the plane just because they're not hijacking. They're horseplay or fighting in the back.
We got a bunch of basketball players fighting.
Fighting. That's Southern for fighting. Wow. Turned it around. How bad do those guys feel?
Less that they won.
These are
the
like
game,
bench players
probably.
too. Like,
yeah.
That's a tough.
Ooh, Rod says
that's a tough meeting with the coach.
Yeah, it is. Like, bro, you guys are lucky to be here. Rod says, I've turned around from Palm Springs to San Diego. Son was having a house party, so son stayed home. Rod must have gotten wind. That's different.
The neighbor tips him off.
Yeah,
or
and you're like, all right, coming right back home. Oh, you're dead man.
We once we're going to a festival up in. It was a beer festival up in San Luis Obispo. And we got to almost Orange County and realized we forgot the tickets. They weren't mobile or anything, so had to turn all the way around to get the tickets.
That's not even
But that's
close
totally
to the
different.
same thing. Yeah.
It's not fun having to turn around, though.
Having to turn around for anything.
It's just not fun.
It sucks.
Just not
One of
fun.
the worst life experiences, I'd say, forgetting something, be like, your phone or whatever, like, it's the worst.
I'm almost exclusively, I mean, unless we are an exit from the house, we'll buy it when we get there.
Buy it when we get there?
We'll replace it. I don't care.
But not if they're tickets. You can't.
This was a sold-out event.
Sold-out event.
Yeah.
Had to go back
Whose fault
and
was
get
it?
the tickets. Mine.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, it was both of our faults. We each thought the other one had them.
Answer.
Very diplomatic answer. Very soft answer, to be honest with you.
All right, and then finally, I need your guys' help on this because we need to paint a picture. If you're not watching our stream on YouTube, it'll be a lot easier if you are. But
I'd like Ben to actually do some play-by-play of this because it's that good.
We had maybe the worst game show contestant in the history. I mean, what was the first game show? In the 60s?
This guy lit me up,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, 50s and 60s.
So we're at like 50, 60, 70 years of game shows.
Who's
and
worse than this guy?
I think we found
I don't know
the
that this is the worst, but this was bad.
No. This was pretty bad. It may not be the worst one example, but when you search like Wheel of Fortune, there's like 4 other answers where I'm like, is this guy even trying? Is he drunk? Is he on drugs? What is happening?
How did he get past any sort? Is there any sort of screening?
There should be a tryout. You have to understand the letters of the alphabet and such. But trial by fire for new host Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is a vampire. I watched Knocked Up yesterday, and he's in it, and he's very funny in it. And then I saw this clip last night and I go, well, Knocked Up was 20 years ago. He looks the exact same. Like he hasn't aged one day.
Yeah.
Not one day.
That guy works so hard.
He's a beast. So he's the host of Wheel of Fortune.
Yes. Wheel of Fortune, and the contestant's name is Will. And before he guesses his next letter, you got a 4-letter word. You've got a 7-letter word. It's pretty clear what the phrase is.
It's okay.
I'd like to buy a U.
Well, you're
going to
get
3 U's.
Most of it's filled in now.
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Okay.
You can certainly see that the second word is yourself and a round of blank.
Yep.
And that last word starts with an A. We know that it starts with an A.
Also.
And ends in A-U-S-E. So, Oz. A
Okay.
round of Oz.
A round of
What could a round
Oz?
of Oz be?
Blank yourself
A
a round of Oz. The first word, by the way, is 4 letters.
And ends in an E.
4. And ends in an E.
And Will...
He wants to solve the puzzle.
Would like to solve.
Here he is, so confident.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
One more time, Paul.
Treat yourself.
I want you to listen to the confidence in his voice when he says,
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
No one has ever said that. It's not a phrase. No one treats themselves a round of sausage.
Again, treat is 5 letters, by
And
the
it
way.
doesn't
and it
end
doesn't
in
end
E.
in E.
And sausage does not start in A.
No.
No. Treat
That's
yourself
not it.
a round of sausage.
I'd like to buy a U.
Well, you're going to get 3 U's.
Treat yourself.
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
I'm going to send that as a
Sorry,
dirty
that's not
text
it.
to my
Over
wife.
to Katina.
I'd like to solve.
Okay.
She's like, thanks,
Give
dummy.
yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
absolute moron. Text your wife. Hey, later.
Treat yourself.
Later when the kids are asleep. Treat yourself a round of sausage. See what she says. Ah! So the best part was they did a little post-mortem with him. Like, you okay? He goes, yeah. You know, when you get, he goes, when you get up there, man, and the lights are bright, and there's Ryan Seacrest and Vanna White. He goes, I'm dead.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
So he goes, he's a cop, right? So he goes, I already know when I get back, my locker is going to be filled with sausage. So is my patrol car.
Yes, as it should be.
Ah!
Holy crap.
You know, Hannah's going to be gone. She's leaving for New York this week. It means I'll have a lot more time on my hands. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
Will! It's got 4 letters. 4. Treat. What in the world?
A round of Oz. Not sausage.
Sausage.
There's no G. There's no S to start the word.
It starts with
Like
an A.
I don't even know
A
what
round
the
of
biggest
sausage.
What's the worst omission there? Like,
Is the A
treat-
silent? Outswage.
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
I want that to be a phrase now, though. I really
It's gotta
do.
be, dude. Polly, keep that for the tournament of drops.
yeah.
It's so good, man.
Now, is it the worst ever? Wheel of Fortune's been on a long time. I've seen where the entire puzzle is revealed, and all they have to do is read it, and they have still messed up in Wheel of Fortune. So it does happen, and the pressure does get to people, to be sure.
Treat yourself a round of sausage, man. And you love sausage. Even you. No, that's not a common for sausage lovers like yourself. It's not something you say, Chef.
Round of sausage for everybody.
Me and my homies are here. I was at a birthday party Saturday.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
It's so good, bro. I laughed so hard last night. I texted it to you guys. I gotta put this on the air. gets back today, he opens up his locker, there's just sausage everywhere. For the rest of his life, he's Will the Sausage Guy. If he's smart, there will be a Will's Sausage line out in the next 3 weeks, just in time for the holiday season.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll again tease Woods'
Petco pork.
family dilemma that requires a bit of
we gotta be careful.
Delicacy on our part.
Speaking of delicacy, treat yourself around a sausage.
And we'll do that when we come back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I know some people have a tough time admitting when they were wrong. I don't really feel like I have that problem. Maybe wrong about Deion Sanders. Colorado's having a really good season.
Yeah, the haters have gone pretty quiet.
Yep.
Remember the beginning of the season, it was like he can't coach. He has no idea what he's doing. He's got no idea how to build a program. Is completely lost. And look at him now, man.
I watched some of the game on Saturday. The 20th ranked Buffaloes beat Texas Tech, rallied from 13-0 down for a 41-27 win. What Travis Hunter doing is incredible. Playing, I think he played 89 snaps on both sides of the ball. That's
insane. The Shohei Ohtani of football.
And Colorado is on the outskirts of the playoff discussion after that win. And after what happened in his first season, you know, how things kind of fell apart, to see them bounce back in the second year, maybe Coach Prime does know exactly what he's doing with Colorado. In fact, his name I heard come up.
Oh, yes.
With a certain job that could be opening in the NFL this offseason.
I would say the job is most certainly going to be open.
The Dallas Cowboys job. Now, Prime has said he doesn't want to coach in the NFL. If Jerry Jones came coming with a giant check. If Jerry Jones came calling
right.
with a giant check, would Prime perhaps change his mind?
Yeah, if he could draft his kid and coach his kid, probably.
Now, this isn't a Bronny situation where he was going to go undrafted and then fall to the Cowboys.
Correct.
You know, they can't just ask the other teams not to draft Shedeur,
right?
Because he wants to go and play for his dad.
Right.
So I don't know that would work, but it's interesting. It's also interesting that the Aztecs hired the offensive coordinator from when it all fell apart last year for Colorado.
Correct.
And it hasn't been going that well for San Diego State. And all of a sudden, Colorado has improved this year with Sean Lewis now out of the picture.
Yeah.
Don't know if one has to do with the other, but Colorado is having a really good season now.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, man. They were fun to watch when he first got there, too. And again, I mean, this offseason for him was not great at all. It did not go well. And you remember he had the thing with the reporter and banning guys and this, that, and the other. And it's really been, I think, for them, it's been a much quieter year. Like there's been less
letting the play take care of all the talking.
Yeah, play takes care of itself. I mean, there's an incident with them almost every game, but a lot of it I look at it and I go, yeah, that's not on them. Did you see what happened with the ball boy trying to rip the ball out of Shedeur's hands? Scored, or it was maybe Hunter or Shedeur.
I saw the Texas Tech fans throwing tortillas on the field.
They always
do
that.
Yeah,
that's a
true.
bit that they do.
That is.
I did that when I was there. It's a fun bit. But the ball boy, like one of them scored a touchdown and he was carrying the ball. I can't remember if it was Hunter or Sanders. He was carrying the ball back with him like he was going to keep the ball. Well, the ball boy took it upon himself to go up and try to rip it out of his hands. They're like, no, dude. So then
good ball security.
Yeah, right. So they pick it up. And he's like, no, I'm taking this. And the ball boy got in his face a little bit. It was Shedeur. It was Shedeur, yeah. It was really like, whoa, what is going on with these guys? There's always something.
Meanwhile, there's always something with the Cowboys, who are an absolute disaster.
It's a dumpster fire.
I didn't watch any of the game. They got destroyed by the Eagles 34-6. They're winless at home this season. Dak is now out for the year.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones says his prognosis is wonderful, even though he's not going to play again. I don't know how wonderful it can be if you're stuck on the Dallas Cowboys at this point.
Well, the funny thing is
that's not a great prognosis.
Is the post game with Jerry said, he goes, yeah, we weren't playing good with Dak in there either. So I mean, it's like, holy smokes, dude. So it happened again at the new Cowboys Stadium where CD.
It's not that new.
Right. CD Lamb is literally as wide open as a receiver has ever been, running a cross, and Cooper Rush drops back, sees him, throws a perfect bullet right to him. He can't see it. Why? Because the other end of the field is wide open. It looks like an aquarium, and sun is glaring through the glass. CeeDee Lamb never saw it. He never saw the ball leave the guy's hand, and looked
like a pop fly in the high sky.
He looked and pointed up at the thing, and they're like, I don't know. They have curtains over that they can put over that, and they don't do it for whatever reason. And in fact, Mike McCarthy goes to give his post-game presser, and he's standing in the conference room. The sun is is glaring through the glass so badly they had to bring a shade in and put it up to block the sun from the head coach from talking. It is absolutely a dumpster fire there. It's when the Cowboys are that bad, that's what made me fall in love with sports radio, because Dallas sports radio today will be as elite as you could ever hear it. It's just the best when the team does this, and it's just bad to worse every week. They got bodied. Terrible.
All right, we are going to come back in our final segment. Teased for now a while.
I'm nervous.
You have younger listeners in the car. We're going to talk about an upcoming holiday and a dilemma that Woods had with his own 6-year-old.
Kind of a sad day.
Found out or determined the truth.
Yeah, figured it out on his own.
About a holiday coming up. And that's why we want to be very careful with our next segment. But it's interesting, and Woods is dealing with it now, and I'm sure a lot of parents have as well. So we'll talk about that when we come back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't change the channel. Just turn it down if you have kids in the car.
How will they know when to turn it back up?
I don't know, man. I didn't want to do this.
Well, you tweeted it, and people responded
They did,
in a big way about, well, we can be delicate with this.
Okay.
Christopher, the saint.
Right.
That makes an annual visit late in the calendar year to homes all over the world. You've heard of him.
I have.
And your kids know about him. And you had a life discussion with your 6-year-old.
Yeah.
But you didn't instigate it.
No, I would never. I would never.
Interesting. It's very young.
It is. And he's a smart cookie, man.
Oh,
And-
apparently so.
Yeah. And well, the interesting thing is the tooth fairy had come the night before. And Bo has lost now his 2 front teeth, and he looks beyond hysterical. Looks so great, so cute. And Tooth Fairy made an appearance, dropped off a fresh 20 to him the night before. So this was on Sunday night. And so last night, I was in the other room watching the football game. My kids were on the couch watching Elf. And Christmas decorations are up in our home. The tree is up. It's full-on Christmas mode. We've watched The Grinch. It's all happening right now. It's Christmas, Christmas, Christmas in our home. All of a sudden, my wife walks in, and her face is white. And she just goes, she comes around to the side of the bed. I'm laying on my ass, as usual, and puts her hand on my knee. And behind her comes my 6-year-old Bo. And she goes, so we've just had a revelation in the next room.
And we will continue that discussion, a sensitive one, right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Soapy Joe's Car Wash Online Stocking Stuffer. Buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Guys, that coastline's been messing with us all morning, and it's not done. Collision on the northbound side near Santa Fe Drive. It's over to the left shoulder, then up ahead at La Costa. Another crash. That one is over to the right shoulder. And got this collision on southbound side, right around Cassidy Street. Looks like that may be in the clearing stage. Oh, also keep in mind that the Oceanside Boulevard on-ramp to southbound 5 is blocked with some road work, so give yourself extra time if that's normally your route. Fortunately, everything else winding down nicely all around the county. Soapy Joe's believes in the magic of the holiday season. Give the gift of clean and shine. Now buy 4 washes, get 2 free. This is an online exclusive stocking stuffer. Visit SoapyJoesCarWash.com for more details. Hurry, offer ends December 23rd. Happy holidays from Soapy Joe's. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So trying to be careful with this still, even though we've warned everybody. So Bo comes to you and Hannah.
Hannah does and says we've had a
revelation.
A revelation.
That he is determined that you have been pulling the wool over his eyes
Correct.
when it comes to Chris.
Yeah. And I looked at her and she said, so we've had this realization in the next room. And I quickly grabbed him and pulled him in here so as not to, ruin the mystery for the 3-year-old or recently turned 4-year-old. And I looked at him. I kind of smiled. I said, "What? When did you figure this out?" He goes, "I just figured it out." And Hannah looked at me. She said, "He was watching Elf, and it just kind of clicked, and you could kind of see it." And he went to her and said, "Hey, is this really happen?" And she said, "Okay, let's have this conversation." And so he came in and I said, "Yeah, you're right." I said, "You're right." And I said, "But it's really important."
So you didn't lie to him?
No, I never lie to him, ever. I probably should, but I never do. And I said, "You're absolutely right." I said, I'm proud of you that you figured that out.
So I remember having this conversation with my friends like at age 10 or 11, but not
man.
6.
6 is young.
Yeah.
6 is young. And I don't know what part of it, was of the movie, but he is, dude, he's a perceptive, smart. We like to say he's been here before. And we've always felt that way. Since the day he was born, we were like, this isn't his first time, right? And just the way he carries himself, the way he talks.
He has a much more advanced sense of humor and grasp of things.
100%.
Even kids twice his age. Even some adults, actually.
Even more adults. And so I looked at him and I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "So obviously, same situation with the tooth fairy. Now that one," he goes, "Wait, really?" And I go, "Hold on." I go, "Hold on." So I just like this. I go, "Hang on." I go, "Are you going to tell me that you didn't think that?" He goes, and he just kind of, he goes, "So you?" I go, "Yes, it was me." He goes, "Last night."
Figured out one, but not the other.
Yeah, and I go,
all right.
I go. He goes, "Last night." I go, "Yes, last night." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he said, "And the Easter Bunny." He goes, "But I've known that one." He goes, I knew that one. Right, Bo, because that's the ridiculous one. Not the guy squeezing down the chimney to eat all the cookies and drink the milk.
I think in some ways,
hitting 1 billion houses in 24 hours.
Yeah, it's a completely logistical nightmare.
Now, because he's still so young, and nothing's going to change around your house, I would imagine.
No.
Around the holidays.
I still get, my mom still writes,
of course,
Chris's name on my presents.
I get it, yeah. And nothing's going to change, but he's probably going to be more appreciative than he would have. Don't you think?
No, less.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Really?
No, I don't think that at all. Ryan says my daughter is crying right now. Ryan, don't do this to me.
Here we go.
He's lying. No, I don't think it'll change one iota. Now the cool thing is we made sure to bring him in tight, give him a big hug, and I said, "Look," I said, "this is a huge responsibility for you." I said, "So a couple of things. Number one, you keep your mouth shut at school, period." I said, "Don't be bragging to your friends."
Good advice.
And I said, also, your little brother. I said, don't ruin this for him. And he said, "I won't."
How nervous are you now?
Pretty nervous. I'm nervous today. He's going to tell everyone at school. And then it's Bo Woods ruins on the front page of the Encinitas Herald. Bo Woods ruins Christmas.
The Advocate, I think.
The Advocate. Bo Woods ruins Christmas.
Now, are you worried that all of a sudden he is going to go on a scavenger hunt in the month of December throughout your home?
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The other one, not so much. The other one, where's my presents? Do I have presents? Are there presents here? I want my presents. Where's my big present? I want my present. Bo's, I'm telling you, Ben, sometimes when I'm with him, I'm like, it's like I'm with a grandfather. I mean, he is just an old soul. He's just that way. So I'm not worried about that. It made me sad.
I mean, you've already had to have kind of the talk with him.
Yeah, well, he brought that book home.
And now you are advancing into the 12, 13-year-old realm at warp speed in your house.
100%. And really, through no fault of our own. I mean, it's just the kid. Each kid is different. And but I think I was probably...
I mean, you might as well have the drinking and driving chat right
I know.
now.
We've had that. We actually have. We've had that conversation with him.
Call for a ride. If you're over at your friend's house, I know you're only 6, and you've had too much to drink. Hey, call me. I will come pick you up. No questions asked.
We have talked to him.
Don't get behind the wheel.
We've talked to him already about the dangers of alcohol. In fact, his old man went out the night before. And as I'm laying in bed, he walks
demonstrated.
In, and I said, I took an Uber. And I said, he looked at me and he goes, "What'd you do?" I said, "I went out with some friends." Quote, "I swear to God, how many liquors did you have?"
I had 6 liquors, thank you. More than 6 liquors. Wow.
How many liquors did you
What's
have?
the over-under on number of liquors?
I told you.
Night?
I cut loose Saturday night. I was home by 10, but I cut loose.
I would consider 6 cutting loose.
Way more.
More than 6 liquors.
Yeah, more than 6 liquors. It laid me out, though. How many liquors did you have? He goes, "How many beers?" I go, "None." And he goes, "How many liquors did you have?" So he already gets, he's just a smart kid, dude. He just gets it. And so hopefully he's going to take it and run with it like oh, cool, now I get to help be, I kind of get to be that for Taylor and help him still experience the magic of all of it. But it was hard, dude. It was really hard. He's 6, man, almost 7. And you looked at it and you just see innocence going away. And I told you guys, remember on Halloween, when he's like, Dad, can I go with my friends? It's like a dagger. You're like, yeah, I'd love you to just be with your friends and just leave me back here by myself. It was just a dagger, right? I took them all to In-N-Out yesterday, right? Take them to In-N-Out, the 4 little kids, and I looked at them and I go, I'm just going to let them eat by themselves. I put them at their own table. I sat at the next table by myself. And
by yourself?
Yeah, and just watch them and watch
so
them
someone
interact.
shows up, they just see these 4 6-year-olds sitting at the table by themselves.
I'm 3 feet away, but I just wanted them to do their thing. So it's weird, man. It's this weird. These rites of passage keep happening, and so yeah, it was a tough one. It was a tough one. It's very tough. And now you think, man, Christmas is only like 6 weeks away. I hope he still has fun. Getting involved in it. And I think he will with the younger brother. But I was trying to think when I guess I realized it, and I think somebody at school told me, and I think it was pretty jarring, but I think I was like 8 or 9. Paul, you said you never were in that scene.
No, my parents, they didn't do the Santa thing with me. I don't know
Ever?
if there was, as long as I can remember, maybe when I was 3 or 4.
Not
but,
Santa, Chris.
Yes.
The Chris thing.
Sorry, thought the cat was already out of the bag. No, I don't know if it was. They had a big religious upbringing, so it was just we celebrate
Jesus?
Christmas because of the birth of Jesus. It has nothing. I was never a believer in Chris at all.
Right.
And so I really don't even remember. Like, I don't remember ever believing in him. I think I just went to school. I'm like, you idiots.
But you didn't ruin it.
No, I never ruined it.
Paulie just got frankincense and myrrh for Christmas instead of real gifts.
Yeah.
Dad, do I even have to open this, or is this
More
myrrh again?
More myrrh.
What is myrrh? Some sort of cologne?
I think it might. Well, no, isn't that what the
Fragrance?
frankincense is?
I don't know.
Like it smells.
You
incense.
tell me. You
Myrrh.
tell me. Myrrh.
Myrrh.
Oh, great. More myrrh again. So I don't know, man. It was very sad.
Yeah, it's a fragrant, bitter, sap-like resin that comes from the bark of a certain tree.
What a gift.
Don't remember that.
What'd you get, Paulie? Myrrh again. Frankincense.
Some sweet myrrh.
Sweet myrrh. So it was very sad, dude. It was very sad. It was a sad night. I'm sad now when I think about it. What about your kids?
Frankincense is also a resin for a tree. My goodness, that's all they gave is
different
tree resin.
Tree resin. Well, it was a lean
There's
times
gold
back then.
also.
Yeah, gold.
No, I've got you frankincense and myrrh. Thanks a lot.
How did your kids find out?
That's a good question. I don't think we've
remember?
ever really.
Like, I never even had a photo with Santa. Like, never went to the mall
What?
for pictures with Santa because I knew he was Chris. Sorry.
You knew that wasn't the real one because the real one's in the North Pole.
Well, yeah, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that bit.
North
Isn't it
Pole.
funny the lies we tell our kids? Now, obviously, he's not the real one. He can't do pictures. He's working
Right.
with the elves in the North Pole.
Right. He's got his army of, helpers that go out to the different malls all throughout the month of December.
Yeah, they all work for him.
Right.
Yeah. So it was kind of a sobering convo last night. But and I'll be honest, as a parent, I was pretty proud of him. The way he took it. Like he was like, oh, okay. Can we watch the rest of No Country for Old Men now? Yes, we can. It's a true story. So, yes.
All right. If you have not been listening to us, you can now resume listening to us. You are free to turn the radio back up. And I understand the dilemma when I just say that because you can't hear me say that.
Correct.
But we are wrapping things up. Good show today. A lot of talk on Rōki Sasaki. Thanks again to J.J. Cooper from Baseball America, who talked a little bit about what is expected to be an intense pursuit of Sasaki in a story we're going to be covering very closely. It could be the next probably couple months. I would be surprised if it happens before January 15th. So,
like you said, there's a major benefit for
waiting.
If it happens soon, we're toast. Just so you know.
Right.
Yeah.
You want it to happen January 15th.
January 15th is the date you circle on your calendar. If it happens before that.
Unlike Soto, where we were talking about teams have to plan. Like, you have to know whether you're in or out on Soto. It helps plan your whole offseason.
You don't have to change anything. You just continue the pursuit, and
Yep.
the recruiting process will be underway soon if it hasn't already really been going on for a while.
Yu Darvish was in Japan this week, so maybe
he's from there.
Well,
so
I
that's
know,
not suspicious.
But still.
All right. Annie and Elston will have more on that big story and the rest of the world of sports when they join you next. We're done for today. For Paulie and Woods, I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. From all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.